Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the week where the Baltic States are playing some Rocket League. Yes, this is indeed the Baltic eSports League. Here with the Rocket League stream, it's myself, Jar of Jam, and my good old friend Face, who is in here today instead, or in place, or just representing the Netherlands and substituting our league, of course. Face, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, a little bit under the weather, but I think I'll be fine today, and I'm happy to be here again, because in week 1 you might also have seen me, and there's been a lot of developments. I just looked up like the Wikipedia page, and it's been going down.
We've been getting some action here for sure. Obviously, we have our little favorites. Time Chasers really straight from the start of the season were considered to be favorites, and some teams are right now not really hitting it out of the park. And actually, let's just take a quick look at how the league standings are unfolding. So at the very top, you can obviously see Time Chasers doing a pretty good job with that 4-0, almost perfect record. They've dropped 2 games. Still, I'd say they're doing pretty fine for themselves. Then followed by Black Diamond, the Backflip Boys, Imperial, Bad Dudes, Team Small Brain, Mind Games eSports, and Post Game Strong. And specifically, those 2 last positions are very crucial ones, or the top 2 positions are very crucial because top 2 teams are going to go to LAN and Tallinn this November, and those bottom 2 positions are important because these are the 2 teams that are going to get relegated.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to Imperials. We've seen not much of them yet, but they are currently 2-1 in the standings, and they are the ones that can still shake it up.
Thankfully, they are playing today 2 games, actually, and thankfully they're playing them with Tagmata. Previously has not been able to participate in the games a couple of times. He had his own tournaments to participate in. Man actually flew out to Las Vegas. Still not sure what the result was, but seeing as we didn't hear much from him, perhaps the performance wasn't as great. But here, I'd say that for Imperial, he's going to be that cornerstone and will make some important moves for his team. At the very least, he'll be making sure that his team is turning out strong. So this gives us an opportunity to take a peek at the schedule for today. The Backflip Boys will be facing off against Post Game Strong in our very first game of the day, followed by Imperial versus Team Small Brain, who themselves also have a sub on their side. Team Black Diamond will be playing against Mind Games eSports, and finally the stream will be closing out with Time Chasers versus Imperial. And again, this is that point where it's so nice for Imperial to have Tagmata back, because, well, they still had some success previously. I wouldn't exactly say that they were looking as solid with subs previously, and specifically, who was it? Yep, Chuas was actually playing in for Tagmata. That was 2 weeks ago, and while they did win against Post Game Strong, it wasn't clicking as well as perhaps they would have expected.
Well, then they are quite lucky to have Tagmata back again, because this is probably like D-Day for them. If they take 2 wins today, well, at least they're playing Time Chasers. If they take 1 win today, it's gonna be very big for them to catch up with Team Black Diamond, because Time Chasers, they're the favorites. They only dropped 2 games in week 1, as I remember correctly, when their statement was we don't want to drop a single game. And then that fight for second place is gonna be really important.
Well, it is all still heating up. Still all the chances for teams to change their standings. And while there, we obviously saw Mind Games eSports and Post Game Strong sitting at the 0-4 record at the very bottom of the standings. And Time Chasers still going with that perfect series record. It can still be changed just a little bit, and who knows, he might not want to pick up those LAN tickets yet. But speaking of LAN tickets, segue, why not get some? November 23rd and November 24th in Tallinn, the HyperTown Expo will be having yet another run, I suppose, featuring the finals from CSGO, Rocket League, and Guns of Boom with a $170,000 prize pool, which is absolutely madness. Teams from all over the world are going to be participating there. We're going to be there, of course, for Rocket League. Cosplay event will be taking place on the second day. That's November 24th. If you want to register for that, the registration is still open. If you want to showcase some of your talents, that is the perfect place to do just that. And if you're a group of people, if you're a student, or if you're coming there as a family, you're also going to get a discount, which actually just why not get it? Why not enjoy an event such as HyperTown with not just esports cosplay, a lot of technical exposition will be there as well. You'll be able to buy a variety of things. It's all good fun. So do check out all the information about that at www.hypertown.pro, where you can buy tickets, where you can register, where you can just check out what's in store. I know what I'm going to be doing there. I'm going to be checking out the VR sections once again, because last time I was doing that, I actually won myself a nifty little prize.
Wow, that's quite amazing. What prize did you win?
Well, I don't want to brag, but I won a Nintendo Switch console.
Oh yeah, no, that's something you take home easily. Like everybody can like get that like at a goodie hut, right? Like it's nothing.
No, it's actually I had to race a lot of people, including our very own Irleak, who has set best time on day one, but then he was subsequently dethroned, and eventually I had to sort of get some revenge on it.
Okay, well, that's a pretty nifty one.
Really, the whole backstory with that one was tremendous. So yeah, go to HyperTown.pro to get those tickets. And if you want to participate in some way, if you can't make it to Tallinn, that's absolutely understandable. But you can still win some prizes, BSL merch and wonderful Samsung monitors. Go to BESL.Pro to figure out how you can participate in CSGO and PUBG scale challenges every Wednesday at 7 p.m. You're able to queue up for lobbies, get yourself kills, get yourself wins, accrue points on the leaderboard, and at the very end, you'll be able to win aforementioned prizes. That's www.bsl.pro. There's no comment there at the very end of that. So, Face, I do believe we are slowly getting ready for our very serious game. So let's quickly remind everyone exactly who's playing for what. And I'd say a very important part of this one, of course, is the fact that Chuvas is representing the squad of the Backflip Boys today. Kartu wasn't able to make it on the side of the Backflip Boys, so Garsh and Cyrus will be playing with Chuvas. He has been previously playing for Weite in the previous season of BSL Rocket League, and now he's back, surprisingly enough, once again against Post Game Strong. Previously he has been subbing for Imperial, also against Post Game Strong, so Post Game Strong just can't get rid of them. Something about it. Maybe he loves it very much.
Yeah, maybe he has a little bit of a grudge against Post Game Strong, who knows, but he's back again at this. And just as I mentioned earlier, for Imperials it's going to be an important day, but also for the Backflip Boys. I don't know if they still have a big chance to make it into the top 2, but I do think they still have a chance. And if they want to get there, they have to win this game. And against Post Game Strong, who are 0-4 right now, they should be able to take it.
It is definitely a possibility. They are considered one of the teams to possibly make it, but the competition is fierce. Team Black Diamond and Imperial will be doing everything that they can to stop Backflip Boys getting that spot at LAN. Hey, Backflip Boys already were at LAN, finished joint third last season. So, hey, let some new folks get in. But here, obviously, they will need to prove that against the team that's currently out at the outskirts of the league, Post Game Strong, that they can indeed do well. And it's very important for Post Game Strong to perhaps finally showcase what they can do. While there's still possible for them to go 3-4 in the league and most likely take one of those 5th or 6th spots where it's still safe and they still proceed to next season, it's going to be incredibly hard for them. And while every single week we're sort of crossing our fingers, hoping, yeah, I really hope they're gonna really not just bloom for one game for like a couple of minutes, but they're really gonna get a solid series. So far, we haven't exactly seen those. Maybe week 5 is exactly when I'm gonna see that finally, and well, still crossing my fingers over here.
Yeah, they could, and this is maybe then the start of it, because if they don't start right now, next week is maybe gonna be too late, because they're gonna play Team no wait, sorry, that's my bad. They're gonna play Team Small Brain next week, and that should maybe be even a lesser opponent than Backflip Boys. But if they want to get there, if they want to get to that safe, secure spot, this is the first step, and if they don't take it this week, it might be too late next week.
It is tough. Just like Team Echo Zulu that has just been relegated from Rival Series. Yesterday, we have found out that mathematically it's absolutely impossible for them to proceed any further. We now might see that both Game Strong and Mind Games eSports, who also are playing today, that if they really can't show up today, this might be over for them as well. And it has been a pretty tough season for both of these teams. A couple of times coming really close to getting that series win and staying afloat, getting that W would be very important for them. But the teams that they're playing against are still incredibly tough. And who exactly? I'm quickly looking who is playing against Time Chasers. Thankfully, Mind Games eSports and Post Game Strong already played against Time Chasers, so that's the biggest hurdle is over. But it's still, there's a mountain of work in front of them to get everything done.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy for them. Like, Mind Games is playing Team Black Diamond, so that's probably not gonna be a win. But hey, who knows? But the next week they will play Bad, and I think they might have a chance against Bad, but I don't know if it's a big one. And I think they play each other in the last week. That maybe will be a decider match who comes last and like second to last. Maybe it doesn't make a difference, but hey, honor is always on the line.
Alright, Face, well, we'll be going in our very first game between the Backflip Boys and Post Game Strong pretty much now. So 3-0 is your prediction, I'm assuming?
Yeah, for Backflip Boys, of course.
Alright, 3-0 it is then. And folks, we are finally on a field. And it's a beautiful day to play some Rocket League. Backflip Boys in blue, Post Game Strong in the orange. And I'm interested just to see how Chuvas will slot into this team, because last time when he was playing against, or for Imperial, I suppose, I don't think they really figured out how to utilize him best. And as a result, it was a little bit of struggle for them to really use the talents of the players showing himself so well in the previous season of Blue Eye. Here, on Backflip Boys right now, as you see, he is the big strong. He is, well, he's also the tank. He's basically everything. Chuvas likes to play with his nicknames. And here, he'll be just slowly starting this game for the Backflip Boys.
It's always hard as a sub to just slot into a team and play it. We have the first goal already, and this time it's not the big strong who's showing up, but it's Serious.
Oh, just a solid effort from him. Look at that, setting himself up with a pass from the corner. Post Game Strong still seemingly looking for that rotation, and just good precise shot. Bam. Backflip Boys do not even need a passing play to open up that Post Game Strong net.
And something you might have not noticed is it looked very clean, that shot that he took. But what you maybe did not see was he also drifted or power slided when he got the touch. He flipped, then he landed, he immediately pushed the power slide button, so he keeps his momentum to be able to reach the ball.
You're absolutely right. That is something that has escaped my mind, and wow, that shows just some extra talent. But you see Rukava in the attack, trying to find Arceus on the ground. Can do so. Great to see Post Game Strong trying to utilize those passing plays. Oop, the bounce is not right for Dipsy. Looking for something in the Sarius style, but as long as they can keep in the attack and get those touches closer to the net, Post Game Strong can look to get something done in the attack. Currently in defense, trying to remove that ball. Dipsy couldn't get it, and while demo on Arceus happens in the defense, Garsho perhaps should be running a little bit faster back to defense. Blue side is being sieged by Post Game Strong as they're looking for anything, any kind of way that they can anchor themselves in that blue half.
And it looks like the battle is being fought in the midfield. The ball is always in the possession of the blue team when it's on the blue end, and it's always in the possession of the red team when it's in the red end. They have to create something in the midfield to create an offensive chance, because the challenges have been putting the offensive team off of possession.
Post Game Strong trying to bring the ball past the Backflip Boys, and Backflip Boys are actually giving Post Game Strong a lot of space and time. Wow, what a shot, Lukava. Not time to react, and Chivas finishes this one out for the backflip boys. Again, just a sudden shot from the corner. Garsho, oh, actually, that wasn't Garsho with a good second touch, although he got himself on the assist board. It is just a good combination of the backflip boys. Again, just playing quicker than postgame strong.
Yeah, that was pretty well executed, even though that was maybe a little bit more luck than wisdom, let's say it like that, because Garsho touched it down onto our big, strong Dominus, and that created a little bit of a pinch, which resulted in that powerful shot.
It's still good on them for continuing with that play, and they recognize the moment coming in, and postgame strong in that spot looked a little bit vulnerable. Rukawa going for the ball that Garsho has lost with his tiny aerial dribble. Chivas will be bringing the ball into the air, tries to get a touch out of boost. Now the whole of the backflip boys side is a little bit overcommitted. Garsho first to the ball though, and postgame strong are rushing to it, but with a bump on Rukawa and the rest of the backflip boys rotating back, the attack starts back the other way. And look at that, postgame strong. Just a moment ago they were in their own defense, but seemingly already losing all of the players to this tiny challenge on the flank.
There's just comfort on the side of the backflip boys. They are upfield with 3 people, and they're still not panicking, not getting in each other's way. They're just standing there. Of course, some touches are a little bit more in their favor than normally, like the ball just went out on the hood of one of the players and then passes it to his teammate. Probably not something they intended beforehand, but it still works out for them. So not only are they playing well, I think the Rocket League gods are on their side in this match.
Maybe not with this one. Garsho just slams into Chivas instead of the ball, but that was a solid setup. They were looking for each other, and it'll be interesting to see how postgame strong would have reacted to that. And now it's postgame strong still looking for that first goal, trying to set up on the attack, but seemingly right now the clears are just not working out for them. They're trying to remove the ball out of their half just seemingly for the sake of let's relieve that pressure. But there's always someone from the backflip boys looking for that, and as Garsho brings yet another ball in, backflip boys continue their siege, seemingly not even thinking that much about the post-game strong. They are confident that this first game they're gonna see it through.
Yeah, they certainly are, and like I mentioned earlier, the battle will be... Oh no, you're kinda kidding me. Oh, it's the post and it's out, but it still probably should go in. The Rocket League gods, they have shown their blessing.
Everything is on the side of the backflip boys to their Rukawa. That clear definitely could have been better, followed up by Arceus is a bit of a panic one, but he just keeps the ball there for the backflip boys to take. Chivas finished up the play in style, and as last minute comes in, backflip boys have set themselves a good start for the series. Best of 5, of course, so 3 to win it. But we know already who's going to take that first one, as postgame strong really at times even struggling to get the control of the ball. This is their half, but just look how many challenges they missed. There's Dipsy, there's Rukawa on the flank. Dipsy just relies on his teammate, but Arceus was seemingly so far away that he had no chances of getting that one with that much space being given to backflip boys.
And that's a 5-0 lead. Post-game definitely not strong in this game. Everything has just been on net. Post not helping out. They might try to rely a little bit less on the post and try to figure out how are we gonna make this happen. Just they're trying, they are really hard trying, but just the individual class on the side of the backflip boys is a little bit bigger.
We know that the quality is there with the backflip boys, and amplified with Chivas, who really I feel is like you couldn't even tell that he's a sub for this team. He knows exactly where he needs to be. He knows where the passes are going to come, and they have the similar mindset. And so, as 5 seconds are remaining on the clock, we know exactly who will be taking game 1. The backflip boys with a solid effort and post-game strong. Really, I'm just curious to see their stat lines. I think they had 1 attempt at a net. If that's going to be a 0 in there, I'm going to be slightly terrified for what's up to come for the post-game strong, because that was a game where, nope, 3 shots. But it's just the total and complete dominance by backflip boys that they've shown up. They never let go, and post-game strong just couldn't create anything.
No, but the first minute, it looked like it was a little bit even. Like both teams were still figuring out what is the best thing to do right here. And eventually, Backflip boys, they just got into it. They felt their flow, they found each other, started passing, and it worked out for them. But post-game strong, they never got into that. They were still busy figuring out, oh, what are we gonna do? Oh, who is gonna go? Oh, do I need to touch this ball? Can we put on pressure? They're not comfortable with the speed that the backflip boys are putting up. And if they can't amp it up themselves, they're probably gonna get shot on 13 times more.
That will be a good start for them. Do you feel like they're just can't do? They usually have a strategy. At least from what I've seen, they usually have at least some smattering of the strategy. Whenever they start going for the passing plays, however awkward at times they might look, it still is that much better than perhaps what they're showing right now. And do you think
I'm pulling a James bot?
Oh,
no. Yeah. Okay, it's fine.
It's absolutely fine. Don't you worry. I've just recently done so myself, so it's all good. It's exactly how you can tell that you've made it, that you're doing a James Watt or a Turtle or whatnot. So going into game number 2 phase, post-game strong, can you give them like one tip, just one tip on how they can improve their play?
Just try to match the speed. Don't wait, because if you wait, you're gonna get outplayed.
Alright, let's see if post-game strong gonna listen to that right now, trying to string a series of passes in the midfield. Dipsy beats one, will be dropping it against Garsho. Garsho can't reach it in time, and here you have it. Alright, lesson immediately learned, it seems. And to me, it feels like just post-game strong try to keep the ball away from backfield boys as long as possible, not letting it go, not letting it fly, and that's what got them that first goal.
Yeah, they just went for it. They took the risk with the positioning right there, being very aggressive on it, and it paid off. And they now take the lead, but that's one goal. Let's not start out to get too much hype, because it's still the backflip boys, and they almost tied it up.
Okay, we are now getting into a confusing zone. I do believe the big throw is Sarius, the big strong is Chuvas, and Garsho is still playing with his own nickname. But we might get at some points confused in this game, so do forgive us if we call somebody else. Look at that counterattack. Dipsy connects with that ball. And man, they have definitely picked up the speed, surviving that quick attack. And the post-game strong just find themselves on a good counter, immediately putting 2 players up.
Yeah, they are not waiting anymore. Like, there was maybe a passing play there for the backflip boys. But instead of waiting and seeing what they do, they just immediately rush the ball. They put on pressure and they make the backflip boys adapt a little bit, because they cannot wait and do whatever they want anymore. They have to go for a ball and have to contest it just like this. It's a really awkward situation just because someone of post-game strong is going up for it.
Oh, Dipsy, I think he was trying to get that flip reset, just rolling down the back wall. He could have tried and perhaps flipped into it. Looking so close, but backflip boys do clean that up, move the ball to the orange half of the field. There you have it, Chuvas with a shot, then Garsho with a follow-up. No third player in the center means that the post-game strong can start an attack, but seemingly wastes just a little bit more time than was needed. Still, player coming in for post-game strong, looking for that clear, and that double commit on the flank, as long as somebody comes in. That's too late for post-game strong. They're now once again stuck in their own half, and the moment that the backfield boys can sort of get post-game strong stationary, panicking, that's when the goals might start coming in, because rotation are not always the strongest suit for post-game strong.
But post-game strong needs to be very wary right now, because they've been getting a lot of 50s, but they're not winning them. They've lost like the last 10 or maybe even 12 50-50s that's been going on. And eventually those will mount up to a point where they cannot defend anymore. And there's a one that they won because they were a little bit fast. That was a big miss. It's an open net for Dipsy Love. And he takes the 3-0. What a twist.
My god. Alright, maybe that big throw nickname on Sarius was a precursor to something. But first Sarius misses, then Garsho misses. And Dipsy, credit to him, that is a nervous situation. And especially knowing the caliber of the team he's playing against, he is cold as ice. Making that easy peasy. Alright, post-game strong. It's nice to see you waking up. Not just one goal anymore, Face. It's 3 now, as the shots are coming in through. And Garsho just makes the back pass, allows post-game strong to start an attack of their own. If they can set it up, and Dipsy, really, I'm loving how he has improved in the past really couple of weeks. Some of his individual plays are not looking out of place over here against these strong teams, and he sometimes, I feel, is that powerful motivator for his team to try just a tad better There you have Chivas does reduce the lead just by a little bit, but the Backlund boys still back and trailing by 2.
And they still have 2 minutes to tie this series up. I've seen that the Backlund boys are getting a little bit better during this second game. They started off pretty weak, but those 50s that came in and other just challenges and attacking mindset has been helping out. But they need to amp it up a little bit more if they want to make those 2 goals in the remaining time.
And seemingly the 50-50s might be where their game is the strongest, because the misses that they've been making, that's a lot of misses for some team of caliber of Backlund boys, are definitely not giving them any credit. More shots, but you can see the Backlund boys fall back already, not willing to commit too many plays. And right now I feel like that pressure that they show in the game number 1 might start getting them the results, because if the clears are not gonna go for a post-game strong side, at some point they'll be out of boost, out of players to challenge that ball. And while at the same time it's just happening on the other end of the field, can't find that pass, Dipsy already retreating, and post-game strong wastes a little bit of that valuable time. We're approaching 70 seconds so far. Besides that 1 goal, they're keeping Backlund boys at bay.
They sure are, but let's be honest, the camera work from the director cam is amazing, but sometimes it doesn't show us the whole story. There was an open net for post-game strong. Nobody was ready to save anything, and they just didn't shoot it at net. It should have been full one right now, and the Backlund boys are still in this just because post-game strong couldn't finish it. But now they do finish this and should take game number 2.
My god, Dipsy finding yet another tough angle off mistouch by Garsho. Alright, I don't know what's generally happening for the Backlund boys, but this is a mistake on top of a mistake on top of a whiff. And with this quality, especially knowing that Dipsy is recognizing all of these opportunities, he is just having a field day. Hat-trick for him in this game number 2. And from a 5-0 to a 1-4, Backlund boys are slowly digging themselves their own grave.
Yeah, I think we learned a valuable lesson right here today. Never call yourself the big throw and have the least amount of points in the next game.
Oof.
It doesn't work.
Mic dropped. Yeah, but that's absolutely true. And post-game strong, they couldn't show much in the first game, and that was, I think, all down to Backlund boys being all up in their grill. But then, when the post-game strong all of a sudden tried the same tactic, will be an up in the grill of the Backlund boys. Sometimes not even up in the grill, it's just that they were there, they were waiting for the Backlund boys to make a mistake, and the Backlund boys were constantly making those mistakes. All the time.
Yeah, they put on some pressure. Instead of just waiting and seeing what the Backlund boys would do, they would just be up in their face and be like, if you don't touch it, or if you're gonna miss it, or have a bad touch, I will be there and I will punish you for that. And that's what they did the whole game. The Backlund boys had less shots, but they still had more shot than post-game strong, just because post-game strong was really effective of capitalizing on those mistakes.
Post-game strong, you are doing something absolutely crazy right now. I feel like the Backlund boys are gonna just snap out of it in the next game. It can't possibly be that they're continuing the same. Or there is still a possibility that what we're gonna see is them, as the Backlund boys, being so unnerved by the fact that the post-game strong just completely skinned them. They've made them scared of the post-game strong, and now the mistakes might continue happening. Only the next game is going to tell, but brilliantly done by post-game strong of utilizing every single chance that has been given to them. And Backlund boys have given a plethora of chances. And now, with the series tied and Backlund boys dropping a game, man, this first of all, no longer a sweep. And second of all right, bring it on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Is it going to be post-game strong who can continue this aggressive playstyle without failing in defense, or is it gonna be the Backlund boys who get them back up again on their horse and try to ride this one out?
Well, we saw post-game strong really taking the control from the very beginning of the game number 2 here with a passing play and perhaps a little bit of an overcommit. Look at that, only Garsho left, and the recovery can bring it through. Not enough boost to really chase the ball, but man, he rushed with that ball out of his own half, brought it into the air, something the post-game strong often are reluctant to do, and then put a lot of threat now that the Backlund boys just puts too many players up front. That
was almost that punish that we've seen previous game come continuously. And now it's just the backflip boys. They need to be a little bit scared because that overcommit that you pointed out, Jar, that was a serious one. I would say that's like a thing you try to do when you're ahead, when you have the opportunity to take that risk and try to get that goal. But right now at the start of the game where you're not even 10 seconds in, that's not something you take.
They went for it, perhaps thinking that they can get something out of that, but seemingly their aim just isn't as good as it was. Some bumps in the midfield, post-game strong trying to chase that ball. I feel like their players just attached to group. Narcissus will be waiting for it on the flank. Now rotations need for post-game strong back, because Backstreet Boys, Backflip Boys have sussed out their plans. A dribble, great flick. Dipsy gets his ball sent up high. Garsho. Now Sari sending the ball back to the orange half. Straight to Rukava is already waiting for them. Can he find a clear? He absolutely can. That beats everyone. Garsho is forced to chase it one more time. Those Game Strong have learned or somehow managed to figure out where the Backflip Boys are going to be. And those clears are no longer going straight to the Backflip Boys. No, they're beating them.
You've pointed out earlier that there was always a problem on the side of post-game strong in the first game, and that where they weren't clearing. And you were completely right. And if we look at the difference right now, they're banging the ball to the other side every single time if they have the possibility to. And that makes it that they can breathe in the defense, get some boost, get some positions. But if you don't get that clear, we know that the Backflip Boys still are very skilled and can still pull off these amazing goals.
Fantastic. Chivas to Sarius, and you get something like this. Beautiful. Post-game strong, not being able to quickly react to that play. And Air is still a place where they might be struggling just a tad. Clears are good, FaZe, but it's the go-ahead goal, which is the starting goal for game number 2 that post-game strong got themselves as 2-0 from Backflip Boys immediately comes in. Chivas doesn't want to hear about post-game strong at all. Just, I feel like a series of good backboard plays, bringing every single defender of post-game strong out.
And this time, they weren't on time. Post-game strong tried to get like at the same speed level as their opponents. And they were close to it. They were very close to that challenge there after the backboard. But they were way too late. And if you miss that challenge, nobody's going to be in net. And then you will get scored upon again. And now a 2-0 lead from the Backflip Boys again. Here might be the answer, but a good save by the big, strong Dominus on the blue side. And we will see what's gonna happen. Are post-game strong gonna find that speed? Or is it still like the individual class of the Backflip Boys coming through?
And the 50-50s once again falling in favor of the Backflip Boys, and shots are going the same way as well. There's Sarius with a second goal. Another setup by Chivas. He just like a shark in the water waiting for that opportunity. Wasn't even the strongest of the passes, but the post-game strong, at times it feels like they have a goal. They're gonna clear that ball out, and they all aim just at that. They're not thinking about what's gonna go wrong if they don't get that cleared. And then you can immediately see that one simple touch by Chivas beats everyone for post-game strong because that pass and that shot were uncontested.
Yeah, post-game strong thought that Arsus was gonna get that touch. And he probably would have if the ball didn't bounce up a little bit more awkward than Arsus expected to be. He couldn't make it, and then that pass into an amazing shot. It's just something that they have to watch out for. Nobody is ready. Everybody has full trust that their teammate's gonna get it. But what if they don't get it? That's something that they don't think of.
And they definitely will have time to get into the attack in case they leave someone in the defense. So for post-game strong, perhaps a little bit of a less over-certainty about their moves might be helpful. Arceus, oh actually that's a little pinch by the Backflip Boys. Dipsy sitting on the wall, actually waits until the last possible moment, stops the ball from Chivas. Ball going the other way, should be in. And Arceus find himself a great counterattack, but that save was incredible. So important on that attempt, and then to bring it back out. Post-game strong keeping their head in the game and bringing this within 2.
Yeah, it was a good counter by them. We've seen that many times the Backflip Boys overcommit a little bit. And they did it again. They went for 3 players for a shot that was not hard. It was a little bit hard to put in. And if you put 3 players on that kind of a shot and not getting a good goal or a safe at least shot, because the shot wasn't safe at all, you can get easily counted if you put the shot against the backboard or just besides the post.
see if Post Game Strong can find those two in the remaining 45 seconds. Right now, at times, just giving a tad too much space. There you have it, a shot coming in through Garsho and Chuvas. Both in net, both making that save. Nobody on the clear. Seemingly Post Game Strong, they're just all waiting in the center. And that's sometimes, I think, hurting them just a little bit. Their positioning not ready for the clears coming in one way or the other, which allows back the boys to just easily alleviate any coming up pressure. And it's no other than the back of the boys in the orange half, still making that pressure. Right now, they don't even need to go. All they need to is run that clock down. And the Post Game Strong will not be able to get a second game in a row, despite showing that they can really bring it to the back of the boys in game number 2 here. The turnaround happened. The same issues that have been showing their ugly head in game number 1 continue in game number 3 as well.
Yeah, completely. But that game number 2, I'm gonna think that it was an anomaly, and that we're not gonna see it again in this series. But who knows if they're gonna put it up? But the speed was lacking again. They tried. We've seen that they got the contests, they got the 50s, but every single time they were like 0.1 or 2 seconds too late. And if you don't meet that speed requirement to get there in time to get a good 50, you will eventually like falter, because you will slowly get a little bit slower because you need to get boost, because you need use a little bit more boost to get there. And every single time the window becomes bigger for backflip boys, and eventually they would capitalize.
It is a tough task in front of the Post Game Strong. Their position is currently on a match point, and the speed difference is really visible with all these 50s not going their way. A lot of aerial challenges. You just see backflip boys are there in the morning, while the Post Game Strong only come to them around the evening part or thereabouts. It'll be rough. It might need another series of fortunate events for Post Game Strong, but it's still doable for them. It's whenever they indeed aggress, whenever they can bring the ball past the side of the backflip boys, it seems that results are definitely going for them. It's when they can surprise and shock backflip boys, put them at the back foot, and force them to make mistakes, and that's where Post Game Strong can start utilizing those. Because besides a rare, solid passing play, right now Post Game Strong don't really have much for them in terms of strategy, tactics, and team play.
No, but they probably figured out that they need to contest, because it worked in game number 2. And in game number 3, they were just barely too late. If they find opportunity again to get on the same speed level of the backflip boys, it can become interesting. We might see the same anomaly as game 2. But I think that the backflip boys won't let that happen, and they will try to continue their speedy plays and use their insight in the game to get this W, because some of those bounces, if you remember the goal, I think it was the 3rd one from the backflip boys, Arswas couldn't see that the bounce was going up, whilst the backflip boys, all 3 of them knew that was going to be an awkward bounce. They read it and they utilized it to score another goal.
There are a lot of facets here in play, and for Post Game Strong to play at the same speed as the backflip boys, that's a big task, and that's a big thing to ask from them. At the very least, they can try. At this point, what else do they have to lose? Because a lot of strategies that they're employing right now, perhaps not working as much. So just throw the whole book at it. Try something. At the very least, try to replicate the same success you had in game number 2, because that was some of the strongest gameplay from Post Game Strong we've seen. Brought in part, of course, by the backflip boys falling apart in a couple of places. With so many misses, it was almost unbearable to watch at times. But Post Game Strong were there in position, ready to pounce on those mistakes. So here, try to force them again, while also making sure that your defense is staying strong. I want to see as good of a defensive showing from Post Game Strong here as they can possibly can. Try to get those reads going. Try to see if you can sort of unblock or read the backflip boys, because definitely you can see what they're doing. It's time for Post Game Strong to catch up on as well.
And they certainly can. We've seen that they have the capabilities to do it. We do see a Merc joining the battlefield, and I don't know what sort of impact it's gonna have, but Garsho does have an impact in the first 15 seconds.
Dipsy trying to clear it. Garsho just found himself a good ult challenge and not a quick enough read, not expecting a shot from a flank. Post game strong in first 15 seconds, stuck in their half, and once again pounced upon. And 2 mercs, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's the big throw and the big, who was it? Big strong, I believe. So that's Sarius and Chuvas respectively. Dipsy, double tap opportunity. Oh, out of boost. And a tad too low. I love when he's going for those challenges. But it's not always the good way for him to go. Rukava and Arceus double commit on that ball. Not able to bring it out, even with 2 players. And that's just a silly mistake for them to make.
And the big throw and big strong sizing up their cars by going for the Mugs. A little bit of an extra presence on the field, maybe even trying to intimidate a little bit. And it seems to be working though. That's a really quick start from them. I don't think they have had this quick of a start. And post game strong already needing to catch up. This is gonna be a hard game for them to come back in.
Or as I see it, especially since Chuvas are playing with those spiky wheels. That is just BM of the highest caliber. He is just showing off at this point. Pass. Sarius to Garsho. Strong shot, and you could see that the post-game strong were nowhere near that ball. And here it starts, playing at the same speed as the backflip boys. And it's getting uncomfortable for post-game strong. When they themselves can sort of start those attacks and do something, that's one thing. But when the backflip boys are dictating that pace, I feel like more often than not, post-game strong just can't keep up. When backflip boys are really doing the best they can, post-game strong are always fell on a little bit. Chasing Garsho reads the situation well. Beats Arceus to that one. Post-game strong's another chance goes back.
That could have been the third already, but sometimes speed is not the right answer. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of patience and try to read the bounce before you go up for it. A little mistake there on the side of the backflip boys, but it doesn't matter that much because they're just so fast right now that they're shooting from left, right, and center.
Garsho tries to find himself a little bit of the way and really upside down. Not exactly sure what Arceus was expecting from a shot. I feel like with a player coming in, he thought, alright, this is a fast shot, this is gonna have some height on. He jumped on it, and that turtley shot, sliding on the ground, completely surprised him. And backflip boys are not stopping. Those only 2 minutes gone, 3 goals, and every single kickoff they're going for more. Post game strong are still looking for their opportunities. Rukawa once again beat. And as Sarius just doing everything. By this point, they are styling on their opposition. Right from this challenge, and 2 players beat, immediately Rukawa shadowing too closely to a counterattack. Backflip boys are showing post-game strong how it's done.
They certainly are. Just a whole different picture again from the previous game. Even more dominance from the backflip boys. They're just going at it. They know what they want to do, and they're going for it. Just hitting the ball to the net. That's their plan. And from now on, it's been working. Just try to shoot it. And the defense of post-game strong. Well, the post-game has been strong once when they hit the post. But it's far not enough.
They might want to rename themselves something else if they want to get some strong game in some regard. And nobody here again. Attack from post-game strong unfolds. You see them beating a couple of defenders' balls in front of the net. And then you don't see anyone from post-game strong coming in. I don't know what their game plan is anymore, honestly. I was hoping for passes, but the passes were too far and few in between. They're somehow getting into the blue half, then there's just nobody there. Individual efforts. It really, the only shining force, the saving grace, whatever you might call it, is Dipsy and his individual plays. His aerial game is on point, but it is not enough. It is not enough to save his team, and post-game strong quite often are just struggling in between those attempts. Look at that. Another one. Shot to the side. Garsho are going to save it, and a demo on Rukava kills any opportunity for post-game strong to continue that attack.
I don't even think that post-game strong still have a game plan right now. They're like, we just need to score. That's all they're thinking about. They're getting scored upon 5 times. Yeah, that's the only thing you can try to do. But if your defense is this weak, it doesn't matter how many you score. If you've got 5 against you, you're probably not going to get 6.
Oh my, I was really so hopeful for Pros Game Strong after they brought it to Backflip Boys in Game 2. They were finally playing solidly, no nerves, no misses. It was their opponents who were making a lot of mistakes. Maybe Backflip Boys wanted to lull their opponents with sort of a false sense of security. Like, oh look, you can win against us. It's maybe I'm not giving enough credit to Pros Game Strong in that one, but it is completely gone. It is now post-game strong making all of these mistakes, and result might still become even worse than a 5-0 with a minute remaining, and Backflip Boys continuing just to do whatever they wish on the field, and more often than not they're getting some results. Nobody is even going for that one. Player for post-game strong leaves the ball on the ground, and that's it. Nothing else is going to happen. I think they're just defeated already, and with 5-0 I can see that, but this just shows that the post-game strong, that's the story of their season. Defeated all the way through.
Well, they still have a chance though, even though they're not winning this year. There's always next week. It's like 2 more weeks. But at least get that one win. They're still gonna have to play Mind Games eSports, and there's gonna be a battle for honor right there, because who is gonna be the team that's gonna be dead last, and who's gonna be the team that still won one series?
It is a little test for them, and last season Mind Games Esports have actually finished last, so this season they will try to avoid that by any means possible. Actually, just out of interest, I'm gonna check who exactly did post-game strong win against. I do believe that was exactly the game against Mind Games Esports. Yep, that was actually that very week when post-game strong won with a sweep against Mind Games Esports, where we thought, oh, post-game strong are looking absolutely fantastic. This is the best they have looked so far, and man, more of the same, please. Never again was replicated throughout the season, but at the very least they got their win against Mind Games Esports. This season Mind Games Esports obviously will want to take that back from them, but for now it's a 3-1 to Backflip Boys rather. Post Game Strong were able to take one game off their opposition, just couldn't replicate that success. It was just the best game they've had so far, but Backflip Boys just seemingly just let off their foot off the gas in that game and then returned back twice in force.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in Game 2. Like I said, I think it's an anomaly, and it looked like an anomaly. And they could not replicate it. Maybe it was the Backflip Boys putting their feet off the gas. Maybe it was Post Game Strong magically finding each other without actually knowing how they did it. But it was still the Backflip Boys who eventually came out on top, dominating, and they take the first series of today 3-1.
The Backflip Boys are putting themselves in a good position now in the standings, 4-0, tied with Team Black Diamond. But more about on this game, and of course on our upcoming series between Imperial and Team Small Brain right after this break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more BSL action.
Ir mirkļi, kas nevar gaidīt. Paņem tos līdzi, lai kur tu būtu. Helio ITV televīzija, kas pielāgojas tev.
We're 1,000 miles from comfort. We have traveled land and sea. But as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be. I would wait forever, exalted in the to the base, strolling so casually. We're different and the same. Gave you another name. Switch up the battery.
Helio piedāvā.
Mēs no tā visa varam uztaisīt kārtīgu weekend balīti. Tu esi Andris kā vecajos laikos.
Lai kādos piedzīvojumos tu dotos, Helio ITV un Shortcut vienmēr tev līdzi. Skaties, kur un kā vēlies.
Folks, welcome back to BSL Rocket League. Still Jarjam, he is still face, and we just saw, well, it's back for boys, dropping one game to the post game strong, but still finishing up with a 3-1 result. In games that they have been winning, they've been winning pretty clearly, and not the most demolishing game from them, but they're, I'd say, make their position a little bit more solid in the standings.
Yeah, they certainly do, and now the backflip boys still have a chance at top 2, and that's of course the dream for every team. This was a good win that they needed to have. Next week or the week after that will be the bigger test if they're gonna make it. But now there are 2 teams on the line that have a little bit more at stake, I think.
There is a bit more fight in those 2 teams, that's for sure. A quick look, of course, at the stands between the backflip boys and the post-game strong. You can see that just through sheer work. A good amount of passes from post-game strong, actually knowing just how many mistakes backflip boys were making to give these goals to the post-game strong. I'm actually surprised to see that post-game strong managed to get that many passes. 5 goals and 4 assists. That is a very solid play for them. Shooting percentage also above 20%. You were saying that is a pretty solid percentage to go by.
Yeah, when you're losing and you have a higher shooting percentage than 20%, you did pretty well. That means that the chances you're creating are effective. Like, of course, 50% is of course like amazing, but when you're losing, it is already hard to score, and when you're still able to, that shows a lot of promise.
Right, well, let's go into our very next game, and that, of course, is going to be Imperial with Ragis, Duvi, and Tagmata, and Team Small Brain, represented by Rico, Peta, and Kikis. This week, Mex is not able to make it, so his fellow Latvian Kikis will be subbing in for him. Kikis playing last season for Scavenge eSports as a sub, this season with Team Small Brain trying to help out this fantastically named team. Or, well, it's whatever you like, but it's one of the fun ones, really. And last week, Team Small Brain really were not showing their best. Their matchup against, and let me quickly check, their matchup against the Backfield Boys themselves, you could see just how much they were struggling. Their usual mastermind in front of net, Peta, nowhere to be seen. He was there, but everything was falling out of their hands, and with that, they just couldn't create anything. And their game was just totally off. Mex and his teammate Rico were trying to create something on the field, and last week Arlik were saying it's Mex were doing a lot of good stuff. But Team Small Brain really need to step up this time against Imperial if they want to get anything from it. They have the quality, especially individual quality once again in terms of Peta, but they really need to learn all the right lessons from a previous week, because that was honestly atrocious.
Yeah, for Team Small Brain, they are still in contention for the last 2 spots. They're, I believe, 1 and 3 right now, and the teams that they are above are 0 and 4. So if they lose this and Mind Game Esports or Post Game Strong pick up a game, like next week Post Game Strong and Team Small Brain play against each other, they would still be in the danger zone to drop out. So for them, it's really important to get a win right here, because they don't want to end up in the last 2 spots.
Team Small Brain is still yet to play against Post Game Strong, but their victory against Mind Games Esports puts them in a solid position in their head-to-head. They already will be winning, but obviously they want to cement their position a little bit better, perhaps catch up to the bad dudes currently in 5th position with their 2-2 record, or deal a blow to Imperial, 2-1. Imperial, currently the team with the least amount of games played, will be catching up this week with 2 of the games of their own, and why not deal a blow right now? We were thinking Imperial going to be that, well, most likely they're going to be that team challenging for the for one of the spots for LAN. But so far, I wouldn't exactly say that's it has been the most impressive showing from them. The very first week, they brought it to 5 games against Mind Games Esports. And honestly, could have gone either way. Teams were just exchanging blows left and right. And what was their loss? Specifically, I'm interested in their loss. They once again post-game strong, but they dropped a game to them, and those were incredibly close games on that one. They've lost to a team like Diamond, but that is to be expected perhaps in some way, but this also means that Team Black Diamond, the other team challenging for one of those land spots, have shown that they are that much stronger against Imperial. 3-0 sweep. So now Imperial, I don't think there's any games there can afford to drop, and unfortunately they still yet to play against the Backflip Boys. That's going to come next week, and against the Bad Dudes for their final week, which is going to be a little bit easier. But first, let's see how they can deal with their opposition here. And Team Small Brain, I'm hoping we're going to do everything that is in their force to put a bit of a stick in the spokes of Imperial.
Yeah, they certainly will, because even though they're not only in a spot to stick the spick in someone's spokes, they also have still a lot of importance riding on this match, and they will try everything in their power to get this W, because they will need it if they want to stay alive for the next season. And I think they will have a decent chance of winning it, but to be honest, I think Imperial is gonna take this one, and of course, I'm even more sure about it because Team Small Brain is playing with a sub.
Well, it's a solid sub, no doubt about that, but it's still a big on option Peta. I'm looking forward to him still to shake off that rustiness from the previous week and try and find some opportunities He's one of those players who just really, he is individual player. He creates so much for Team Small Brain. I do believe 15 goals for him, and that puts him almost at the very top of the point standings, but only 3 assists. Game flows through him. If Team Small Brain can quote-unquote activate Peta, then everything is for naught. And the first goal comes in from the other side. Imperial find themselves an opportunity. Tagmata, welcome back to BSL. We missed you.
That was a good setup there by Ragus. Getting it from the curvature downwards to his teammate was really well played. But the defense of Team Small Brain has to speed up a little bit more. It's okay for the ball to come there, but it shouldn't stay there that long.
Well, still do concede out that one. Great pinch. And here you see Tagmata in his element once again. Always seen him as that third player, either sitting back in the defense, waiting for a clear to come to him, and then he just returns back on the other side of the field. Or he's that third player coming in and finishing the move that Max and Rico, or this time, actually, oh no, I'm thinking a completely different team. I'm thinking of someone else. But Duvi and Ragus over here are doing their job. Oh, great shot. And look at that kick as the sub finds themselves an opportunity on the wild bounces off the post as Rico sets him up. Duvi just can't reach it.
We have a certain saying in the Netherlands that's called 3 times shipwright. It translates to 3 times the charm. And that was that. There were 3 really big chances that all went on the post and out. Like, it looked like even post-game Strong was playing, but they played in the previous series. And eventually they did manage to finish it off, but that was some nail-biting on the side of Imperials.
They couldn't really alleviate that pressure, and the ball returns back to their own half. Team Small Brain trying to start a siege. Rico challenges that clear immediately. Duvi will be attempting a second try up. Just sends it laterally on the other side of the field. Seemingly to be working out, but then Peta gets the ball, passes it out to Rico. Just falls off his car just a tad. I think Peta was already looking for some sort of a pass back to him. Double commit by on the flank by Imperial. Certainly wouldn't do them any good. Team Small Brain can quickly regroup, not with the bumps and demolitions or kickers. Team Small Brain's counterattack. Well, it's Imperial giveth, Imperial taketh away immediately.
And they are trying very hard to get a high tempo going on the side of Imperials, but they have double committed, they have half rotated on certain occasions that, in my opinion, they shouldn't. This is also again a big chance, and Rico is there again with a good center there from Peta. He tried to get it towards the center, maybe even score it, but he couldn't make it work. And Duvi is there standing, and he couldn't do anything. He was too close to the ball, and to my surprise, there's a 2-1 lead for Team Small Brain.
Duvi seemingly always chasing that ball in that play, never really in a good position to make that save. And right now, you can see Imperial just creating the chances for their opposition. Tagmata flying in, but even he misses the challenge as straight from the kickoff. Team Small Brain, valiant effort by Ragus, really. He tried to clear it as fast as possible. His challenge came in quick, but that just immediately cut off half of this team, and Team Small Brain already there, ready to pounce.
And I'm impressed with Kikis. I thought Kikis is the sub coming in, probably gonna be the weak link on the side of Team Small Brain, but no, he's definitely not the weak link. He has been performing, but I do think that Imperials are a little bit too antsy, panic a lot, and when they go for it, they don't really think straight. They just like, I need to touch this ball, and then they touch it in a very awkward way, and Kikis like, oh, thank you, sir, for centering again for me. I will gladly take that goal.
He took it for a hat trick, and hey, I think Kikis is vying for that main team spot. No longer should be a sub with that performance, especially against a team they've been expected to lose against. A lot of work to be done by Imperial. This first game, just a kick in the teeth for them. Team Small Brain will be no pushovers going into this one. For starters, well, just slow down the game just a tad. Let's see what's going to happen for that. Ragus to Duvi. Throws the ball on the flank. Tagmata comes in. Doesn't get any touches whatsoever. Maybe he can start something on the other end of the field, but I'm pretty sure he's out of boost and won't be able to continue anything. Here's that man of the moment, Kikis, staying with the ball. Beaten by Ragus. Let the ball fly up just a tad too much against him. Tagmata, no pressure on him. Team Small Brain right now are most likely will be comfortable just sitting in their defense, bringing Imperial to them, as Imperial right now need to risk and bring out everything to get something out of this first game.
They should have to take a little bit more of a risk, and there it is, rewarded immediately. What a risk taken by Doovie. It maybe looks a little bit odd, but Doovie committing on this ball is such a big risk because Tagmata is in the same spot, only on the ground. He does score it, so they get rewarded, and I like that they're being aggressive right there. But I still want to see them calm down a little bit more, because if they keep up this aggression throughout the whole series, they will have a lot of defensive problems.
This is something that you really need to fix quickly. Trying to get something done on the attack. There was a demolition and more players from Imperial coming in through. Pressure might break Team Small Brain down, but that pressure most likely will be forced to go through these risky plays, those over commits. And if you put 3 players and don't get the result, then Team Small Brain will be all too happy to bring the ball on the other end of the field. There you have it, Kikas, with Rico coming in at a weird angle. Thankfully, Kikas has been demolished, so he will be back home. With boost, with positioning. Oh, actually that bounces off the side, but Imperial are nowhere near. That was a ball for them, and 3 players in the net. That's 3 goalies jumping up for it. But nobody's there. Ragas just flies up helplessly by it. No boost, no way to change his trajectory. And they just lose that opportunity. Rico, Pede, and I'm assuming Kikas will be finishing that off for the 4th goal of the game.
If you just take a little look at this, look how much time there is on the side of Team Small Brain. They can do whatever they like because nobody is in net. Because they both committed for a ball that they couldn't reach on the side of Imperials. They are so antsy, they want to play so fast that they can't keep up with themselves. And they're struggling, they're stumbling, leaving open nets left and right. And you don't have to give open nets to Team Small Brain because they know what to do with them.
They've learned one lesson, that is open nets. Yes, we're gonna score on them. Ragas with the back pass, Peda without boost. And just gonna play it up for Ragas, who just spawned, and that passing play might still work. Rico and Kikas trying to break something on the ground, but there's no doubt about it. A shocker from Team Small Brain as they get the first one on the board. And oh boy, this series has just livened up pretty badly.
Yeah, Team Small Brain just capitalizing on every single mistake that the Imperials are making. And that's a really good quality to have. Imperials almost as offensive, no, just as offensive as Team Small Brain were. They had the same amount of shots, but they just couldn't finish off enough because they took so many risks. Oh, I can shoot against the backboard. Oh, it's fine. Oh, wait, I'm the 3rd guy back. We just shot the ball against the backboard, which means, oh, we don't have a defender, no! And then Imperials are just caught again, and Team Small Brain score the next goal. They just need to calm down a little bit in their defense, take their time, just wait a little bit longer and let Team Small Brain do a play or something. Let them try to create something. Because Imperial's oh, the ball is coming, I need to go for it. No, just let them shoot. You can save a shot. You don't have to challenge every single ball.
That is a good way for Imperial to try and get into the game. Perhaps just do what post-game strong have been doing. Wait for your opposition to make mistakes and see what will happen out of it. Don't be the ones trying to... Okay, something about today, Face. Something about those names. We have now Alpha Boost Pay to Lose, and I do believe Alpha Boost Pay to Win. Once again, it's going to make our life a living hell, but seemingly...
Yep.
And God, it's just Team Small Brain, now Team Small Brain flexing on their opposition, it seems.
You know what the fun thing is? You know these guys by heart. This is my 2nd week casting these names. I have no clue what the names were.
I mean, if they want to be Alpha Boost and Beta Boosts, well, all the props to them. Actually, knowing that they both now changed their nicknames, I'm a little bit lost as to who is who. Kikas, the sub, thank you, Kikas. At the very least, you are staying in. But well, Team Small Brain, that is Rico and Peta. And I think if I see the cards, I will be able to tell you which is which. I do believe Peta's playing on an Octane. One way or the other, Game 2 has started. And Team Small Brain, I don't know what their game plan is, at the very least. They're going to have a little bit of fun with their nicknames. There you have it, Alpha Boost to Beta Boost. This is going to be pretty silly to call them. But they're trying to siege a Tagmata, poor touch. His teammates are able to recover it. Kikas, waiting for Beta. doesn't get the ball, and those passes just not coming through, but they're keeping the ball in the blue half. The moment the attacks comes in, Imperial just are unable to finish.
And they are, but at least they're not that antsy as they were in the last game. Tagmata, I think, still has a little bit of trouble getting the correct challenges because he's been missing a lot there. Again, he just flips besides the ball. Tagmata, calm down, man. And just wait a little bit longer and then just see what the opponent does before flipping into it. I think if he calms down, their team will have a lot more control. Again, he just misses another ball.
Oh no, and Tagmata really is that solid player. I think the solidest out of them all, at the very least on the Imperial side. He knows his game. He knows his positioning, but it's those challenges that he's making, those touches seemingly falling out of his hands today. And the more he misses, the more he's getting nervous. Not a good showing for him. It's only the game number 2. The game is still tied, but that's a good skip up forward. Ragus will block it. Any follow-up? Nope, not on that attempt. Tagmata will bring it to the side, but that's straight to his opposition. And it's gonna be either Rico or Peta going up for it. Actually, we might ask our very good league administrator KP to help us a little bit and tell us exactly which is which, because the players just want to make it a little bit more confusing.
Yes, but we still know at least one, which I have my own, and it's Kikis. He's also very recognizable to his car, because he's using the Twitch car, and he's been doing quite fine this series. I'm a little bit surprised. Like, if I would pick a solid player on this series, I would not say it's Tagmata. By far, I would say it's Kikis.
Oh, Kikis. Hell yeah. I mean, as a sub coming in through and doing a wonderful job in that game, won 4 goals. He was just unstoppable for someone just coming in and fighting like that. My God. And if he continues that way, he might as well be MVP coming in through this one. Still tied though, and seemingly Imperial have no longer making as crazy mistakes as before, which would allow them to get back into the series, because that first game just ran away from them. And look at that open net opportunity. Doobie, poor touch, sends it to the side while Tagmata immediately beats it down. His touch is also a little bit too poor. He kills that ball in the side, doesn't give it enough oomph to send it back in. And here you have it, Imperial, while still being in the attack, not exactly threatening, and that's a lot down to just, we're gonna just touch the ball, we just rush it again. Have you not listened to FaZe, guys? He told you exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, like, some people listen to him, and sometimes it works out. Sometimes I'm totally wrong too, like, you can draw your own plans too, but I don't know what's really going on with Imperials. They're just, like you said, hitting ball fast and hard. That's the strat. Well, hasn't been working, guys. So they have to come up with something new, and I'm looking forward to what they will do, because I think that Team Small Brain is gonna actually take this if we look at the chances and the dominance and how everything is going. This could be dangerous though, but again, Tagmata cannot muster it to get to the ball.
And Team Small Brain on the attack, maybe they can beat Tagmata. In the defense, he has so far been pretty solid. At least in this game. In the previous game, that was a tad too crazy for them. And a little bit of confirmation, Alpha Boost is indeed Peta with his Octane, Beta Boost with his Dominus is Rico. So there you have it. Just, if you're confused about who these players are, it's still Team Small Brain, maybe with Kikas on as a sub, but Kikas was one of the best ones. No follow-up, great touch, Kikas. Just a slight of the touches, but it removes ball from Imperial for already rushing it down. Pass, too heavy-handed. He was trying to look for Tagmata, but that was more like he was handing the ball to him. That wasn't exactly a pass, just a small touch that didn't really lead them anywhere but the overtime.
And this is gonna be an important one, because is it gonna be Team Small Brain getting towards the match point, or will it be the goal that will get them tied up again in a one-punt position? Here's maybe a good chance. This will be backboarded. Tagmata is up, but again, he misses a really important ball. This ball will go to the net. Can Alpha Boost do it? No, he cannot reach the ball. But I don't know what's going through Tagmata's head. But I've seen him play week 1. He was amazing. This week, not so much.
Yeah, he has been great, and for Imperial, he is that star player. And, well, maybe he's also feeling a little bit under the weather. Maybe, and especially knowing UK's weather. But right now, team really needs him, and all these mistakes, while not leading to much in this game 2, in game number 1, you could definitely see them. Right now, it's just Team Small Brain not only being able to jump on every single one of these. Minute gun of the overtime. Rico's trying to set up Peta. He actually set up Ragus with a back pass, and since Sigmata again misses on the touch, he immediately goes straight back for it. He knows how to fix his mistakes at the very least. He's ready to do that. Imperial on the attack. Duty just goes on the attack without any boost in his tank, does nothing, returns back, and really that rotation was wasted. He was there, but he definitely couldn't help out his team at all. Kikus tries to drop it. Lovely touch. Could have been even more precise. But Imperial once again threatened by Team Small Brain.
It's interesting that it's going better for Imperials. Like, their chances, every time I see the ball going towards the net of Team Small Brain, I'm clutching my butt cheeks because it looks really dangerous. Every time they do get away, barely. But every time I think, oh, this is going to be a goal. Oh, no, this is going to be a goal. Oh, no, Kikus is going to score a goal. But every time I am wrong.
There you have it, yet another attempt. Kikus dropped the ball. Lovely. Imperial putting 2 players to challenge that one straight out up. There you have it. Peta trying to figure out quickly who that exactly was. And Duvi and Ragas just going hard on it. And as 2 challengers are lost, and Tegmata not recognizing where the ball is going to be. That is a 1-0 for Team Small Brain through the overtime. That's a 2-0 for them in the series. And Imperial are... They've already been really on shaky grounds. This put them even in more shakier grounds. Team Small Brain, a team we've been expecting them to win against, have now put Imperial on the match point, and it's through that player you see at the very bottom of the scoreboard, Tegmata. What is happening with him, I genuinely don't know. Knowing that he's our good buddy, we might ask him afterwards. Whatever is happening with Tegmata is affecting the whole Imperial side.
It certainly is. I like that last goal. Honestly, I don't blame Tegmata for that one. It's an overtime of, what was it, 2 minutes?
Yep.
And maybe even longer. And eventually there will be a goal scored, and eventually someone will be caught. What I do blame is that they didn't score early on the side of Imperials. They had so many chances where I thought, yeah, this is going to be it. They double committed. They had a really bad touch on the side of Team Small Brain. Now it's time to commit. But then Tegmata goes for ball, and I'm like, yes! And then it's like, oh, wait, it's Tegmata. No, he's going to miss it. And he missed it. And I don't know why he does it. I don't know what's going on with him. But he has to look into something because he is not the Tegmata that I've seen earlier.
No, no, and no again. Just the amount of times we expect him to make a simple touch by his standards and him not making it just makes us wonder what on earth is happening. One more game for him to try and fix this ailment, whatever that might be, or Team Small Brain might run away with it with the, so far, the most surprising sweep of the day. More sweeps might be coming later on, and more of them might be surprising. And there we have it, Peta and Rico returning back to their old nicknames. So making it, again, a little bit easier for us. But Peta on the Octane and Rico on his Dominus. We at the very least know who exactly they are. Maybe now the game will return back to what we saw in the game number 1, which is solid domination by Team Small Brain. Or Imperial might finally recognize their mistakes, of which there were plenty. Demolition doesn't... Oh, I was going to say doesn't get anything, but that good 50-50. Brings the ball forward. Confusion in the defense, and there you have it. Goal for the Imperial side. Tegmata finally puts a stop to this, but this was just been a tad confusing. Rico just throwing himself on that challenge. I don't think that rotation from him was necessary. In the end, Team Small Brain end up with 2 players in a corner and nobody in net.
I think that Tegmata has played better, or has done more important things these 44 seconds than the last 2 games. He's had good touches, except for maybe this one, but he's been everywhere. He's been saving, he's been shooting, has been setting up, he's winning challenges in just 44 seconds, which he has not done in the previous 2 games. So maybe he's gotten his act straightened out, and maybe it's going to be fine now on the side of Imperials and their star players back. But there's still a game to be played, and it's still match points for Team Small Brain.
It's rough, but it's fair. His performance was subpar, to say the least. And his team definitely needs him with that one. He puts Imperial on a good position. Now it's Team Small Brain in chasing position. And Duvy will be dropping down to someone, whoever might take it on the end. As long as Tegmata doesn't go, again, doesn't try to carry his whole team on his shoulders and and make another series of mistakes, because that is tough. Nobody has to carry 3 players all by himself. And should be doable for Imperial. Duvey and Tigmata both going for that shot. Solid commits. They get that clear, but that was looking shaky.
Well, you know why it looked shaky? It was Tagmata that hit it, but the power didn't come from Tagmata's flip. The power came from Duvey's flip, because Duvey flipped into the defense. Here, an incredible save again, by the way. We almost missed that one, and that's what they cleared. They double committed. It worked. Like here again, Tagmata's going to the ball while Duvey's underneath it. It's so odd on the side of the Imperials. They are ahead, but I don't know how.
Somehow they're still surviving it, but one of these double commits might be the crucial one, the one that gets them out of position. Rico will be intercepting that one from Duvey easily, and they're really feeling like the game plan from Team Small Brain is visible with the naked eye. They put that ball on the backboard, and they're just bringing more and more players out. If that was just a tad stronger, Kikis would have gotten on target. Imperial too far out, not really in position to save it. Ball returning back to their own half, a miss. Duvey already being pouched. No, not pouched. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever it is, you see Peta waiting on the flank, trying to return the ball back to the side of Imperial. And Team Small Brain are starting a siege. Oh, that was absolutely not needed. Kikis, you've been doing so far this time. You really didn't have to go for that one.
Oh, now he's back passing. This is dangerous. Luckily, Ragus misses. Oh, that's almost an own goal, but it was crossbar and out. They survive, and they set up an attack. This is maybe a good shot, but Tagmata, out of the blue, does hit a ball. I'm sorry.
Oh, more microphones dropped. But it was a good touch. But man, the nail biters are just coming one after the other. 2 players in the air. Tagmata makes that clear. He's usually the one to make those powerful clears that sort of, done and dusted. You're not getting anything past this one. Ada on the bottom of it, no boost, so continue. The attack won't be continuing, and now Team Small Brain forced to return back. They only have 60 seconds to get something going out of this game. They were forced in the overtime in the previous one, and they did get it. But now, Imperial with a chance to start that reverse sweep with a small result, with the game still teetering on the edge every single time. With those 50 seconds, and that great clear from their own half, nets Ragus another goal for his team. And that's Imperial a solid position in the third game.
Yeah, that's a goal you will take every day without any complaining. You're pretty happy about that one. And it looks like Imperials are starting to play better. It's working out for them. Their visual touches are better in general. And they will probably, or most likely, take this next game. Maybe Rico has to say something about it, but Rico does not get the touch needed for that goal. And as strong as Team Small Brain has looked in the whole series, they look pretty weak right now, whilst Imperials have been improving.
I no longer see those great opportunities from Kikis. Peta, still someone that his team, just like Imperial need Tigmata, Team Small Brain need Peta. And Peta, not exactly showing himself that well. He has been overshadowed by Kikis in the first game. And right now, down by 2 goals with 10 seconds. Those 5 minutes, we saw Peta from time to time. It just wasn't as good. Great opportunity by Tagmata going for that second touch. But Kikis making sure that no third goal are going to come in the end. Imperial gets on the board. But that is still a series very up high in the air.
Yes, it can still go either way in my opinion, because Team Small Brain looked pretty weak this game in my opinion. They started out okay, but during the game they slumped a bit. And Imperials looks like they've woken up, and especially Tagmata. I don't know what he has done in the break between these 2 games, but he has learned to touch a ball, to score a goal, and to save, like in one go. I think if every player could do that, they would want to learn that in that small amount of time. So we'll see if he can continue it, because if I think if Tagmata keeps playing like this, Imperials will take the reverse sweep here.
And people were saying our leak was brutal when he was commenting on the players. No, we have face here, and man, those comments just keep on coming. Do keep on coming then, please. What we do see, though, is Team Small Brain, I feel like, not really able to figure out what their strengths are now. Peta has been left in the dust in this game, with the least amount of points. 1 shot is all that he has to his name. Individual efforts not working out for him. I don't think his team is really trying to set him up as much. especially knowing the goal scoring opportunities from Kikas, or at least the ability that he can bring on the field. And as a result, it's not like they're pulling the blankets in each other's side. It's just that cohesion is not really there for Team Small Brain. They've lost a little bit that, what are we gonna do with the ball? Who's gonna score? Who's gonna be where? Maybe they're relying on, hey, everyone can do something. We can all do this. Right now, it's really not working.
Yeah, but they relied on the mistakes of Imperials in defense. Imperials were so antsy on the defense that they went for every single ball, which didn't work out. And then they just capitalized on the mistakes. Well, if the Imperials don't make mistakes, we're not gonna see goals for Team Small Brain.
It is quite a possibility. And right now, as Imperial, great touch. Rag is just waiting for that pass from Tigmata. Sometimes you want to get that double tap going. Look at Tigmata's play. Wow. Actually, that just pulls Rico completely out of position. Already stuck on the post. He can't do anything about it. Watches the play. And by the time he needs to react, that ball is way too far for him to get. Opposite corner.
And Tigmata's back in it. Again, here he just beats out a defender very handily. And if he's gonna keep playing like this, he will be that star player that you mentioned, Jaw, and he will carry his team to the victory. But it's still they're down. They're still down one game, and it's still match point for Team Small Brain. So just only one off game could make the difference. And as I like how Tigmata is playing right now, hitting every ball, being everywhere, he's also a little bit chasey, and that can be dangerous.
He knows that he can do it. He knows that his level of play is quite often enough to beat their opposition. He is confident. We saw that confidence biting him a couple of times. When it does not work, it really does not work, because his aggression is just up there. Rico finds himself a gap in the Imperial's defense. Just a good old quick counterattack to Heda. Yep, and that is on the wall where nobody can read it. Ragus tried, but I think that was a tad too flashy for that safety.
It's a really flashy save. You shouldn't get it. It's really hard to pull off. I'm in favor of saves like that in a way that you can utilize them, but only do it when you have enough time, not when you need to rush. Just rotate normally in that. Don't try to make the flashy play or be the hero when you just can be a normal dude and fix it.
Yeah, it would be gonna look really great if he would have made it, but he didn't, and he now looks a tad foolish to make that one. Imperial brought back to a tie game by Team Small Brain. Team Small Brain looking mostly for counterattack and opportunity, both teams moving the ball around the field pretty well, and that allows them to exchange those just good attacks, ball moving quickly from one side of the field to the other. Peta trying to kill it. Now that Ragus brings it back, Tigmata, I'm pretty sure, will be waiting somewhere there in the midfield. As a third player, doesn't even need Tigmata. Duty still finds the ball, and we have a 2-1.
Yes, certainly. And as flashy and as good as Kickers looked in the first half and Tigmata didn't, I think we have maybe a little bit of reverse of roles. Tigmata's looking pretty great the last game and this one, while Kickers has been nowhere on the field. And what is it gonna be? Is Kickers gonna step up again as he did earlier, or is it this time Tigmata's time to shine?
Maybe we've overpraised Kickers. We said so many good things about him that he just stopped playing, perhaps. It's obviously not that. He's not getting his chance anymore. But I love to see that Rico and Peta have stepped up. And without them, Team Small Brain would be crashing and burning, considering that Kickers also has been lost on the field just a little bit. But it's definitely, I feel, comes down also to the Imperial finally fixing a lot of mistakes. Those misses were hurting them so much. And now, it's a more even play, with Team Small Brain having a lot of chances to just take it against Imperial, still sitting on that match point. And with 2 minutes remaining, I'd say it's this scoreline might as well change a couple of times.
It certainly could, and I dropped my controller again, but nobody noticed if I didn't say it, so I'm fine. But on the side of Imperials, they have the lead right now, and they're pretty happy with that because they still are eligible for that reverse sweep. But they do have to watch out because Team Small Brain are looking better than the previous game, but they still have a really hard time creating chances on their own because, again, this goal in this game was still a miss on the side of Imperials that they capitalized upon.
Nico coming in strong, try and find himself a second touch to send it back to the middle of the field where his teammates certainly would be waiting. A miss returns everyone back to the orange half. Team Small Brain, well, sitting in a solid position to bring it back. That tiny touch by Duvy just beats absolutely everyone, sliding straight underneath the crossbar. Kekes, a great pass. Unfortunately, that's not his teammate.
Yeah, he tried to clear it. He couldn't make it happen, and then that's the 3-1. A lot of confidence now on the side of Imperials. They're feeling way better. If you just look at that kickoff, how much faster Tagmata was than on side.
Oh my
god,
he even gets
bump too.
That is crazy. I thought he actually got a touch on it, but the fact that he goes back in, gets the boost, gets to it, and then, yep, the moment he saw that the player from Team Small Brain will also coming up to that ball, he changes trajectory immediately. That bump was immense. One of the, really, he makes that one of the best goals of this week for sure.
That is certainly true, and now they're poised to get to game number 5 and maybe even take it. It would be a shame though if Team Small Brain maybe still take it in game number 5, because 3 goals probably not gonna happen anytime soon. But just the development of Tagmata through this series, it's insane. How he started out and how he ended up, it just looks like 2 different players.
And it's nice for him to finally come into his proper full strength. Tagmata we know, Tagmata you saw during the first weekend. Look at that, find himself an opportunity. He is, once again, just waiting. He knows how to read a play. He knows when his opponent is beaten. That block by Rag is just throwing his car selflessly against it, allows Tagmata to make that goal.
And it's again Tagmata in the right position, in the right time, with the good touch, who scores the goal. And now we will go to game 5. And I am curious what's gonna happen. Can Imperials keep this up? They've been doing great. Here maybe still another goal. They save a little bit more face right there by scoring a second one. Maybe getting a good one back there for the next game, because this has no impact only to Pat Peters' scores. They need to win the next game, or they will have suffered from the horrible thing that we call the reverse sweep.
Oh boy, the reverse... Nobody wants to even get that involved. The reverse sweep alert is here, folks, so get your... well, whatever you might get out. Just make sure that this is a very rare occasion here in BSL. Really, on my memory, once or perhaps twice at most did we have reverse sweep. And here Imperial are about to do... well, something that we've been expecting them to do from the very beginning of this series, to win against Team Small Brain. In 5 games, it is still a victory. It is still a very important point on the board, just knowing how contested those top 4 spots are. But Team Small Brain have yet another chance to stop Imperial's run. And especially if they can stop Tagmata, or if they can stop Dewey, because that player has popped off this game. And they can do the impossible.
He has been also bringing it up every time the ball is on Duvey's cam. You see just how many control he has over the ball and what he's capable of doing with it. But it's still Tagmata, in my opinion, who is facilitating it. Duvey can do it, but he needs Tagmata to back him up, or else he won't be able to have that confidence and have the space to work with that Tagmata's creating.
Right, we just had a confirmation that it was indeed during last season and the very last week when Scavenge eSports couldn't get the job done against Postgame Strong. And Postgame Strong swept Scavenge eSports in what really was a thrilling week 7. Here, yet another opportunity so this will be only the second reverse sweep of BSL history so far. And I'm pretty sure that Imperial are looking straight at it.
Imperials are really looking for the reverse sweep, and to be honest, I think there's a pretty big possibility that they're gonna, because they've improved so much. And while they've been improving, Kikis has not. He's really good at capitalizing on mistake. But what if a team doesn't make mistakes? Maybe here's the first one. Duvey, can he still make it? And yes, he can get it to the side. That could have been a good start for Team Small Brain. But no, it was Duvey catching them early.
Good play by him, making sure that nobody can get that rebound path, putting it away from any of the Team Small Brain players. Team Small Brain with yet another attack, but that's just straight to Tagmata. Still have players on a follow-up, but those clears are not getting anything done. Here you have it, a couple players in the attack. Peta, what a whiff. Pass was intended to him, and finally Team Small Brain finding their teammate rather than an opponent. Peta couldn't get a touch, and we still need a lot more from Peta, a lot more from Kekes, and of course Rico can't possibly be sitting on his thumbs either. Peta tried to bring it off, but doesn't make any connection with it, and his team are now forced to retreat back, but they thought we're gonna get something out of this attack. But that miss completely puts a stop to their plans. Kekes, his return back was so slow, and Rico wasn't able to react to it either. Team Small Brain playing too close to the play.
Kikos had the right idea right there. Kikos was like, if I demo this goalie, we might have a goal. That's completely true, Kikos. If you first demo the goalie, and second, the ball has to go towards the middle like this. But nothing of that sort happened. Good counterattack by Imperial, and they take the lead once again. Looking poised for that reverse sweep. It's getting closer and closer. It's like a shark from Jaws that like the sound is like being played on the headsets of Team Small Brain.
Oof, that is a very, very scary proposition for them. Pretty sure, but I'm pretty sure they're perfectly aware of this. Peta will try to kill the ball in the midfield, and Team Small Brain will be looking to start yet another attack. Defense all in session. Tagmata and Duvi. Strong double commit if Tagmata doesn't have any boost. Nope, Tagmata is already in place. He is back to his solid old self, always in the right spot for his team to make it safe. 12 boost on him, but nobody in the attack from Team Small Brain. They just allow Imperial to recover. And I don't think by this point recovery is something that Imperial needs. Peta, strong shot. Two players, Ragus and Duvi, just can't chase it. And that's what you want from Peta. Just a good individual effort. Find himself, look at that, just an open space in the middle of the field.
Yeah, Duvi tried to clear it to the side, like up the wall, but he hit it a little bit too high. And that made it bounce inwards again. And because Ragus and Duvi were both rotating to the same side, nobody could pick it up, put on some pressure, and make the shot a little bit harder. Peta utilized that pretty well. Here's a good chance of backboard straight to the middle, but Peta, hero safe, keeps them tied up.
My god, Tagmata was already there in the shooting positions, but he didn't go for it. Imperial, I think, just losing a good chance up front. Tagmata without boost, just barely with the back to his play. Ragus had to make that save because I don't think Imperial had any chance of saving it otherwise. And those last 2 minutes face are gonna be just nerves upon nerves from both of the teams. Imperial want to make that reverse sweep, only second of BSL history. Team Small Brain want to shock their opposition. Right now, pass to Ragus. Peta makes their first. Ragus didn't even want to commit to that play, which is slightly surprising to me. He was beat, but didn't even put anything against Peta. That's so strange. Miss. A solo one, and Tagmata, deep from his own half, just feels that the play is going to be there. What a bounce.
Yeah, that's a hard bounce to read for Rico, but even though the bounce is hard, he had way more time. He could have waited for the ball to even hit the ground and taken it upon his scar. They've got the feeling that they're under a lot of pressure for Imperials, but they are not. Imperials are not that aggressive right now. They put this pressure on themselves. Maybe the nerves, because they know that they have to win this. They're losing 2 games in a row right now. They've got a lot of pressure on themselves that they're creating for themselves. Here's maybe then a good chance to keep it up, but a double commit doesn't leave a third defender left to finish it off, and they will still be in the deficit.
Small Brain a good chance for a counterattack. Peta's bounce doesn't work out for them. Mana doesn't come in immediately. He just waits for it. Very patient. But that patience actually could have killed him on that attack. His dribble immediately falls off. Small Brain, just by the virtue of them already using all of their players at the start of that attack, they can bring the ball in through. On the back wall, that's also a good place for Tagmata to be. Those backboard clears are incredibly important. Trying to set up something in the middle of the field, but Duvi and Ragus will be up there waiting. Ragus, that hit from Ragus was just... I'm not even sure how to describe it. He just ran in the middle of that play, not getting the chance. Duvi, and now Ragus will be finishing this one off. 3-1 in Imperial with a good 2-goal cushion with a 25 seconds remaining. Face, seemingly the Imperial have done... wasn't the impossible task, but it is a big one. A reverse sweep and Team Small Brain couldn't hold on to the series.
They certainly could not. With a weak start on the side from Imperials, but they improved throughout the series. And not post-game strong, wow. No, not post-game strong, even though sometimes it was a really strong post. The side of Team Small Brain, they showed that their small brain couldn't adapt to Imperials. Maybe here's still a good chance Peter gets an own goal.
Alright, just forcing that, putting that idea in ahead of Imperial. So where did that clear come from? Ragus really wants to remove that ball away from Team Small. Alright, 1 goal, 6 seconds straight off the kickoff, and I feel like Team Small Brain if Tagmata is not on the kickoff, that's the important part. He does not get there quickly enough. Peta doesn't have the boost. Dewey sets it up straight in the center, but Kikas so late to that. Actually doesn't get the bounce. Rico late to the challenge. Tagmata back, and he needs to just kill it. And so he does. And there you have it, folks. Imperial, in a long run, still do make it work. That is a 3-2 in a reverse sweep. And finally, they can breathe a sigh of relief, because just look at what Team Small Brain put in this game. I'm looking at it, that is 14 shots. They've completely outshot their opposition, and yet, it's not the shot that count, it's the goals.
It certainly is. They tried a lot, but nothing really worked out for them. And losing that is a heartbreaker, because they were so close to it, but they couldn't finish it off. Tagmata woke up in time and got his team in the right mood again. And they do eventually take it in a reverse sweep fashion.
Yeah. Well, more about this series after a break, as well. We'll be gearing up for our third game of the day, which would be Team Black Diamond versus Mind Games Esports. Gonna be a doozy, so once again, do not go somewhere for 5 minutes, but no more than 5 minutes. After those, we'll be back with more Rocket League action right here on BSL.
Ir mirkļi, kas nevar gaidīt. Paņem tos līdzi, lai kur tu būtu. Helio ITV televīzija, kas pielāgojas tev.
We're 1,000 miles from comfort. We have traveled land and sea. But as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be. I would wait forever, exalted in the sea. As long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same. Get you another name. Switch up the battery.
Helio piedāvā.
Mēs no tā visa varam uztaisīt kārtīgu weekend balīti. Tu esi Andris kā vecajos laikos.
Lai kādos piedzīvojumos tu dotos, Helio ITV un Shortcut vienmēr tev līdzi. Skaties, kur un kā vēlies.
And welcome back to BSL Rocket League action here with Face. I'm Jam, and we'll be continuing the action for today. We just saw a nail-biting game. That was Imperial versus Team Small Brain. Team Small Brain taking the first two, and then letting it slip away from them as Imperial finally came into force. I feel like Kikus was really the star of the first half of those series, and then Tagmata came into full force, something we have expected from him, but it really took him a long time to warm up to that.
Yeah, maybe just in time he came back, but I don't know what happened to him. During this whole series, he went from probably maybe even the worst player on the field to the best player on the field, just in like snap of the fingers. And it happened to Kikus too. Kikus from maybe being the best player in the field to the worst player on the field. It was quite a big switcheroo, and eventually it worked out for Imperials, and they were very happy about that because this still gets them in contention for maybe that top two. But if you see a performance like that, you might start to question if they really are in contention for the top two.
You won't get that many chances playing at line, and well, there will be a long best of. It is, I mean, you need to close down these games. You need to start dominating much earlier than that. They eke out somehow, and you can see that Team Small Brain were really close to Imperial based on goals, assists, saves. The only category they've outplayed Imperial in, or outplayed is a strong word to say. They put a bit more shots, and a lot of it I think is down to that last game when they've put a solid 14 versus what I think was 6 from Imperial, and still the score was 3-2 in favor of Imperial. You have that many chances, you have to convert. Team Small Brain just couldn't finish it through. Problem we saw a couple of times from, again, just bringing it all the way back, Team Echo Zulu in Rival Series. They had a couple of close games, but they always let the ball drop. Couldn't really figure out at the very end of it. As a result, well, There you have a Team Small Brain, not out of it, still in a solid position in that 6th spot, but they came this close, taking this away from Imperial, and still, it's only a pipe dream for them.
And now Team Small Brain just has to look for next week, at least. Also, of course, Imperials, but especially for Team Small Brains, because they're now 1-4, and that's only 1 game away from the bottom 2. And next week they play post-game strong, which may be a decider match. Who takes that one, who's gonna move to that lower spots, because if Team Small Brain wins that one, they will probably lock themselves into a 6th or higher position.
It's a very important game for them, and it's once again those heads-to-heads and just stomping on your direct opponent, making sure that you stay afloat and not them. Another game that we'll be checking out one of these sinking teams is, of course, our very upcoming game, Team Black Diamond versus the Hapless Mind Games eSports, still without a series win so far in the season. 0-4 is the record. MacGyver, Flake, and Timotheus on that side versus one of our best teams in the league, which is Team Black Diamond. Frosty, Crimea, and Keo most likely are going to make it a 3-0, but we are expecting a 3-0 for Imperial, and that wasn't exactly the case. If Frosty all of a sudden is cold, just like Tegmata was cold, Mind Games eSports stand a chance, especially knowing that we saw Flake really coming into force a couple of times. He has been... Sometimes he just gets in the mood, and that is just working out for him. He's just carrying the whole team together with him.
As much I also want to get behind Mind Games eSports and my boy Timotheus, I don't think I can, because they have not performed once. They lost 4 times, 2 times were 3-2, but they still have lost 4 times, and Black Diamonds only have lost once. So I want to see that they will perform and that they will maybe get a win, but I just don't see it happening.
It's gonna be a rough one for them. I still like what Mind Games eSports have been putting up here and there. Actually, quickly checking the stats. Was I completely wrong? Where have I lost my very good boy Flake? No, Flake is still there. Yep. Actually, above a lot of players in here. Above Kartu, above Duvy of Imperial, Rico, his teammate Timotheus. Well, Chuvas, we shouldn't even talk about him in that situation. But really, it's Flake. Flake has been putting up a lot of work right now on the field, so look forward to him. Look forward to MacGyver as well. He is sometimes a one-trick pony, but he definitely knows his... He has one position from which he's deadly, and if his team can set up to him, that is the middle of the field, straight in front of a net, then MacGyver can convert those. And with Timotheus being back for this week, it might also be something positive for them to take away from him. BreastQuest was playing versus Time Chasers last week, and wasn't the best performance, so I'm happy that Mind Games eSports have their main player back in action. Maybe this roster change back, rather, will be something that might definitely help them get a result in the series.
I think playing with Timotheus gives them a bigger chance against Black Diamonds. Don't know if the chance is gonna be significant, because Black Diamonds put up a real fight against Time Chasers, and that's the only team that has really put up a fight against Time Chasers, which are by far the favorites. And if Team Black Diamond are the only ones that are capable of that, that gives them a lot of credit in this matchup.
It's gonna be an interesting one to see. Actually, I would like to throw a little bit of comparison, and that is, again, Flake, because he has been just going so well. Or maybe we'll throw it just in the middle of the round, but well, we have still a short moment. Let's quickly see specifically how these two compare against each other. And on the side of Team Black Diamond, it's Keo, 11th in goals, 8th in assists, 17th in saves, 8th in shots, and 22nd in shooting percentage, which is pretty low. Oof, and that's actually pretty rough on the side of Flake. 10th in goals, 12th in assists, 7th in saves, 11th in shots, and hard to say which one he is in shooting percentage, but that's still a better shooting percentage than Keo. So for a player on a team that is low in the standings, Flake is really pulling his weight.
Well, it's interesting to her. Well, let's see if he can pull the weight of the team against a big boy as Black Diamond, because as I mentioned a lot of the times, they're gonna have a hard time, and I'm really looking forward to what they're gonna try to achieve in this match. Are they gonna play defensive? Are they gonna play offensive? Do they have a plan, or are they like, well, it's Black Diamond, we'll try and see if something might work out?
And it's all up in their hands, and Team Black Diamond, I'd say we know their game plan perfectly. Look to Frosty to make these amazing plays. Look to his teammates to support him in those plays. Prima, a prime example, part of the pun of someone who definitely will be able to get that. Actually, Prima himself was he the MVP for us last week? Again, KP might get a little bit of information on that one. He has impressed last week, especially since Frosty couldn't really show up. I think at some point Frosty last week said, well, thank God my teammates were great. I think Frosty specifically said, you better make Keo the MVP. We put Prima as the MVP, and the reason was because he was just absolutely great, especially knowing that Frosty wasn't really showing his best. Said that his team was forced to play 2 versus 3 because he was just not showing on the field. So for this week, Team Black Diamond, your first task is see if Frosty is back in the scene.
What I'm surprised at, though, is Mind Games eSports offense right now. They're playing very offensively with not that many risks, but putting on some pressure. Shots haven't been dangerous yet because the defense has been quite cold for Team Black Diamond, but the pressure they're putting on is something that I didn't expect to see this early on.
Seemingly a day of surprises for us today, Face, and Mind Games eSports being on such aggressive offensive is yet another one of them, and this just beats everyone. Keo not being able to read it, perhaps, I'm assuming out of the boost by the end of it, but it's the fact that Flake immediately goes for that ball, not just letting it go to his net and then he does something. He's there, he's starting an attack, not just an attack, he clears it straight into net.
That was, again, a goal that I find very odd. It's a goal we could have seen in the previous series because it's just a capitalization on a mistake of the defense of Team Black Diamond. Not something I expected to see, but maybe they have to get the frost off of their hands and see if they can warm up too.
That is a good one, actually. Or perhaps teams are not willing to give us any sweeps today. Reverse sweep is what really happened, but no clear on sweep 3-0. Post-game Strong got themselves one game against the Backflip Boys here. Here is only a beginning, but Mind Games eSports are looking like, hey, they're here to play. They want that first series victory. And against a team of the likes of Team Black Diamond, that's going to be a big one to take.
It surely would be a big one, but we're only 2 minutes in yet, and it looks like Black Diamond is warming up a little bit. Here's a good opportunity. Keo gets the shot, but Timotheus in time to get the defensive save.
Prima will be going straight at it, but MacGyver reading the play, seeing exactly where he needs to be. Won't be able to throw the block. I already see Frosty coming in through, but it's Flakesy solidly sitting, not allowing any extra chances. We saw a couple of times today, for example, from Post-Game Strong, when they weren't challenging those, and the Backflip Boys were just doing whatever they could in front of the net in the air. Here, challenges are coming in time from Mind Games eSports, and Team Black Diamond will have to do something more inventive on the field. Timotheus, I don't think he intended that, but that drops it straight to Flakesy Frosty. Has to make a sprawling save across the net. Immediately starts an attack of his own, and I'm pretty sure he's out of boost on that one.
We haven't seen that many attacks yet from Black Diamond, just a few. They have been dangerous,
Great
but nothing
bump.
out there. There's a good bump. Prime has to get it on Premier just in time to save it, but I am really surprised at the quality of play of Mind Game eSports. They're maybe not that fast and capable in the... Wait, where did he come from?
Yeah, just came out of nowhere. Prime recognizing the pass from Frosty. Look at that drop. He was just rotating back through across the net. And he gets it going. Well, there's your MVP of last week showing yet again. Lovely stuff for him. Really just... and that is not lovely at all, but Timotheus, end game, returns back to the net quickly.
I was just gonna point out that I'm surprised how Mind Games eSports are holding their own on the ground. Maybe not so much in the air, but on the ground they certainly are. And if they can keep this up, I would be surprised if they keep it up, because just the warm-up capabilities of teams is huge. And we've seen it right here that Team Black Diamond, if they warm up, if they get the opportunities, they will score those goals later in the game.
Prima just continue to be a nuisance in the attack. Mind Games eSports looking for that clear, but another small touch. Kyo now drops it to his teammate. A pass that, if nobody would be there, would just give Mind Games eSports a perfect opportunity for a clear. But the fact that Prima I don't think he rotated. I don't think you can call that a rotation at all. He just was there. He never left the attack. And that pass allows him to strike his second one. All right. I'm loving for a second week in a row now what I'm seeing from Prime.
Yeah, he's certainly doing great. And now with the 2-1 lead, they can chill a little bit and just try to drive this game out and then just look further what's gonna happen with them. Mind Games eSports probably happy with the start they had, but disappointed in how they're probably gonna finish it.
It's still 40 seconds for him to do something. Prima now gets a challenge on a wall. He is unstoppable. 3 goals. And he definitely is hungry for more. Look at that, just goes hard on it. And Mind Games eSports not recognizing one more time that, hey, this might not go our way. Having their net empty.
It's odd because there was looked like a decent clear from MacGyver, but just the speed of Premier just getting there and hitting it in, it's not something that Mind Games eSports is used to, so nobody is back to save it because they don't see him coming and thinking he would get that. And that's just the sheer difference in individual class right there.
Okay, he's going for yet another one. That's on target. Prima, your aim today has been impeccable. It's 4 shots, 4 goals. That's not stat padding, that is just close to cheating, but he does it so easily. Everything is going his way. And while Mind Games eSports started game 1, I'd say the best they've looked in a long while. Team Black Diamond are taking no prisoners. And 4-1 at the end of game 1. Here's the results that Prima, most importantly, has worked. And look at that flick. I'm loving it. He might be MVP for the 2nd week in a row with this kind of performance.
He might become, but this was just game 1, and like I'm gonna say, I think Team Black Diamond, they are warmed up, they're ready, and they just want to keep going. Mind Games eSports, you guys got your 3 minutes of sunlight today. The rest will only be darkness covered by our boost trails.
That was surprisingly poetic, especially from someone currently sitting so deep in the darkness. but man, I'm just happy that Face is here because his outlook on the game is absolutely fantastic. So, is there a way to stop Prima? Is there a way for Mind Games eSports to stop this bleeding that has just started with that first goal by Prima and never stopped?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Mind Games eSports will get back from this. I think they had their opportunities in game 1. They should have closed it out early. They couldn't. Black Diamond is now back in it, and they will just keep hammering it down and probably will take a 3-0. But hey, I've been wrong before, so who knows?
Hey, we both been pretty close to wrong before, so that is an interesting series. All right, straight into the game number 2 without any little breaks. Mind Games eSports, if they can recreate the same passion they had at the very start of game 1, and they can get back into this one. It's the aggression that really got them all these results. And it's Flaksy's quick play in the offense that got them that first goal. And then it just became worse and worse. Right now having the time, but Timothy is just seemingly wastable up front. No threat on him. Flicks it straight into Team Black Diamond's player. Rusty on the attack. Prima still waiting there. Nobody's getting this one. Flakesy and MacGyver both not touching it. Primeo with the pre-flip. Wow. That is partly, I think, sheer luck, but if he intended it, if he never intended to go for a shot or a bounce, but he was trying to read the play of the Mind Games eSports player, that is as crazy as it gets.
Ramia is just feeling himself right now. He knows exactly what he's doing. Everything that he tries to touch or is going for, it doesn't end up golden, but it's quite close. Maybe it's silver, and it's just working out. So he will continue to try and put on every crazy single play that he can, because he knows that some way or another it will work out.
seemingly so. Right now, attack Black Diamond continuing. Broke down just a little bit. They found this a good opportunity, but Frosty couldn't finish it up from the flank and acute angle. Tried for a pass, didn't work out for them either. Now pass is coming in through, and Keo, right now they're struggling to find each other just a bit. There was a lot of individual work from Prima as well in the previous game. But Frosty, well, he's still on the attack and still threatening. Could have threaded it underneath Flake. It's seemingly that for Team Black Diamond, they're struggling a little bit. We're just indeed finding each other with these plays. Clears are still coming through. They're still getting the ball on the orange half. But it's that they're not finding someone from their own team at the end. But perhaps Frosty with his drop down, close enough, and he just makes MacGyver score on his own net. Rough. Well, that's what you get when you drive exactly like that to the net. Doink.
I want to say, big brain playing by Frosty, small brain play by MacGyver. It's hard to, of course, see that Frosty's going for it. You're panicking, you're like, oh, I need to clear this ball, needs to get out in front of the net, because if not, we'll be in danger. So he rushes towards it, and he gets it going, but he realizes too late that Frosty is right there, getting that 50. And yeah, that feels bad, man, in the end. While the 1-0 lead is again towards Team Black Diamond.
Right, Frosty was almost at the end of that one. Timotheus recovers it down to Flakesy. Tad too much boost wasted on him. That one does get the boost of Team Black Diamond. And MacGyver keeping the ball in the attack. Another boost stolen. Frosty without any boost. But who needs boost on Frosty when Prime is going there? Fake? Perhaps another fake. Prime is now backwards. If he's going to get something out of this attack, it's going to be crazy. Keo pops it up. Frosty now has a chance to drop it down for his teammates again. MacGyver does remove it back. If Timotheus plays it carefully, just prefers to play it fast. No boost on who was that? I believe that was Keo rotating out. And now, versus two players coming in attack, Prime will go for a bump. Early flick by Flakesy, but with support from Timotheus, almost getting that done on that attack. Mind games.
There's still some life left in Mind Games, and in that opportunity they had it to get that equalized. But it's a hard one to pull off. High points for creativity, high points for like trying to get it done, but execution was just a little bit off, which made it that it would be savable for the defense.
Double commit, Mind Games eSports, putting two players up. But Team Black Diamond themselves in no position to do something. Keo, inspired by his teammates, tried to go for an individual effort. Lovely flick doesn't beat their opponent's Flakesy. Too late for a challenge. Timotheus still with the ball. Might be the only one beat by Keo. With a follow-up, Mind Games eSports trying to keep the ball in that blue half. Yet another attempt by the Dutch player. Timotheus just keeps it up there. Flakes on the follow-up. He was so close for that challenge, but he just gives Keo the moment he sees him going for that ball. With 1 minute remaining, Mind Games eSports are squarely in the blue side. Maybe this drop. Nope. Flakesy going for it hard, but the player by Black Diamond was always there, always made ready to make that save.
And now they did have the clear. That means that they can get some air, get the ball out, get some boost, get the positions in again. Like you see, Frosty has boost again and can just rush it. They are now more comfortable, can set up maybe their own attack. Premia again, just passing it to the side. Brilliant play, but his teammate did not see it coming.
Maybe not the most crazy game from Team Black Diamond, but they're making sure that they are keeping it as solid as possible, not making any simple mistakes in the attack, and their defense is looking as solid as ever as well. Would have liked perhaps to put a little bit more goals on the board, but a 1-0 and a victory and a match point. They still would take it. Flakesy with last chance saloon. That is actually a good possibility. They gave him a lot of time, but he just brings it back. MacGyver will give it back to Flakesy. Timotheus and both of them, MacGyver just not in the position to take it. And you see Mind Games trying to overwhelm that backboard, but it just takes them too long of a time to get the ball back in, and by the time somebody can get to it, it's a tad too late.
Yeah, they came close though, and that last minute, Mind Games had everything up to speed. They were not double committing, they were following up on each other's touches. They were doing pretty great, but they just can't find a quality offense. The big chance was the flick from Flakesy into Timotheus, and it almost worked out. Those plays are the plays that they need to pull off, but those are also the hard ones to pull off.
That was a rough one, but absolutely fantastic chance. Flakesy had a possibility for individual play right at the very end, a buzzer beater, because Black Diamond, in an effort to really play it safe, backed out of him. And still, even with that attempt, Flakesy, still, I looked forward to him to make those flashy plays, something crazy. And if you just look at the stats, it's mostly throughout the saves. Shows that the Mind Games eSports really worked hard in the defense this time. Like that 1 goal difference in inability to create something on the other end of the field just meant that, hey, it's not gonna work out for them that much. A little bit of a break for Mind Games eSports right now as we're getting another server going in through. Knowing that Black Diamond were kept to only 1 goal in this game means that Mind Games eSports can now themselves turn around just a little bit. And since Frosty, KO, and Prima, especially Prima, after that 4-goal bonanza, kept to nothing, 2 shots, that's really for him pretty much nothing. I feel like for Mind Games eSports, hey, go back to the drawing board. You had a really good point over there. Aggression, just circle it or write it 3 times and see if it works, because it definitely has worked in game 1.
Yes, and I think what's happening right now, to be honest, is maybe good for Mind Games. I don't know, because what we've seen in game 1 is they adapt very quickly to the current pace. But if the pace changes in the game, they have a hard time to adapt. When the ball was a little, like in the start, they had a little bit of trouble with the ball on the side of Team Black Diamond. Once they got comfortable with that and could speed up their plays, they would beat Mind Games to the ball more than enough times in getting all those goals. And then in the second game, you see that Black Diamond has one pace. They don't speed it up, they don't slow it down. And Mind Games gets to adapt. And eventually at the end, in the last 2-3 minutes, you saw that they could keep up with the pace, could create their own chances, and were solid in defense. Now, with this little bit longer break, will Black Diamond have another pace in game 2, or will they keep the same pace? I think that's very important for Mind Games to read into.
They can definitely throw Mind Games eSports off by adapting a different pace of play and just a different style of play. Then again, if it works, I mean, why change it? Team Black Diamond barely, perhaps, but still got it done in game 2. For this one, obviously, Mind Games eSports right now will be trying their darndest to get back into the series, while they need to win 3 times in a row. The possibility is still there, and we saw Imperial just a moment ago do exactly that. Just a reverse sweep worth a lot, really, in their position specifically. And for their opposition, Team Small Brain, well, that's back to drawing boards for them. Mind Games eSports started this game number 3 with an attack, trying to siege Team Black Diamond. Team Black Diamond solid in rotations. Watching Crimea over there, that was exactly where he needs to be at the very end. Good shot, Flakes gets demolished. But their Team Black Diamond not risking anything. They know, yep, a demolition, but we don't need to risk it.
They certainly know when to risk and when not to risk it, and they look like in control. Every touch is good. This was maybe a little bit of a risk of Kyo, but it did work out. Mind Games again in offense. This can be dangerous though because of a quick counter attack and leaving only one person in defense. And there is it, the quick counter attack, and Premia scores again.
That was a weird plan for Mind Games eSports. They're trying to keep the ball in the corner. Another challenge on MacGyver over there. And touching the ball for touching the ball's sake. Sometimes just because you get to the ball doesn't mean that your touch is going to be that efficient. You also think where you're going to put it. And that good 50-50 coupled with the fact that Prime was so far in the attack beats Mind Games eSports, gets Team Black Diamond the first goal. Back on the attack are Mind Games though. Looking for something. Prima in the net, low on boost. Actually gets past them. Timotheus will be dropping it down. Frosty on the wall, clearing it immediately. Kyo and Frosty, or actually Prima and Frosty team bump. A good touch by Kyo sends it back down, allowing his teammates to recuperate. And send the ball a little bit of breather, boost recharge. MacGyver tries for Splashy, a solid play. That will do great. But I don't think he is exactly the player that for whom these kind of plays come easily.
No, maybe he is not, but he has the opportunity to do that. But it's still on Mind Games eSports to answer. They need to find a good opportunity while Team Black Diamond just like free flying through there. They are comfortable, whilst Mind Games eSports is sweating right now. They have to come up with something, maybe an infield pass, maybe a shot, maybe a double tap, but not much has been working. and the attack looks a little bit disjointed in the game.
You just saw Flakesy. I think he pre-jumped that from ages ago, but he went on completely a different post. Interesting idea by him. Mind Games eSports had a chance on the attack. Returning back to the blue half one more time, and we'll be looking to push the ball through. Unfortunately, with their positioning, it seems that the only way they can do something is really to push the ball through. Passes are not coming as clear as they would have hoped. Keo had an opportunity on target. Actually, Flakesy dangerously kills it down against the backboard, allowing Team Black Diamond to continue the attack. Falls off the premise car. Timotheus steals the ball back down, but all these extra touches beats one. That is lovely, but Frosty is already waiting there, keeping his distance. Know exactly what he needs to do. Timotheus immediately met by Prima. Players are coming in just in time from Team Black Diamond, and even if the one player is beat, there is at least immediately someone in the back making sure that Black Diamond are safe.
Yeah, Black Diamond is defending on the mid line. They're just waiting for the ball to get to them, and they will just catch it. Here again, even though it looked like they were caught out of position, Keo was also there. They just have two guys on the midfield line, and they will communicate who will put up the pressure, challenge, or go for it. Or just wait and let the ball come to them. And that's been working out for them. And it's just, they look in total control. Sometimes there's like a small crack in it and an opportunity for mind games. But then these kind of things happen where the goal is just plain empty.
Another good attack, Frosting Keo on the flank. Actually, a good opportunity for Mind Games eSports to start an attack. Keo and Premier getting a little bit of time. Flakes a good touch. Keo not reading it well. Timotheus gets it, but only off the crossbar, and bad that time. Frosty already returns in Team Black Diamond, keeping it safe. Now the attack coming the other way around. Keo blocked in the air. Mind Games eSports get enough time to return back, set into the position. With a good exchange from both teams, and while Mind Games eSports couldn't get something going on the other end of the field, that has been looking promising, something that they really need to work on in the remaining 60 seconds, as this is their series fate in their hands. Frosty in the air, and trying to bring it down, doesn't get the touch. Flakes already there, but actually beats two, and if he beats Keo, that gets sent on the other end of the field, which allows Team Black Diamond to regroup and send the ball once again to the other side.
And they have to keep trying to battle this Mind Game eSports. They had a few chances, but it's just not going in because the defense is just too great. They're just patience on the side of Black Diamond. They know they will beat the offense to the ball and get the clear out. And yeah, it's not total destruction, but it's utter control.
It is working out for them, and yeah, it's not domination. It's definitely this could have been that much crazier. But the Mind Games eSports, their pace is enough to put Team Black Diamond in a more uncomfortable position. That own goal by Keo, he was trying his hardest to just remove it somewhere away from the net, but it gives a tie to Mind Games eSports, and something that we've been wishing out throughout this 5 minutes of play. All right, a lifeline.
There's a lifeline from Mind Games eSports, but they have had a hard time to score on their own. So even though we will probably go into this overtime, I don't even know if they're capable of scoring another goal on their own.
Workouts, keeping ball in the air. Right now in this situation, this is much more dangerous for Mind Games eSports because Team Black Diamond might allow one game being dropped from them from this buzzer beater. But the Mind Games eSports, for whatever reason, want to finish it right there. This is actually pretty close. Keo once again was close to the ball, but he recognizes the play. Overtime in Game 3. One goal might decide Mind Games eSports' destiny in the series. If they lose this one, this is a 0-3 against them. They're getting swept by Team Black Diamond and getting down even further, 0-5 for them. Or they finally might get their first series. Already, just the game, really. It's only one long step at the very beginning. Good back pass. Frosty finds Keo. Prima returns back, and I think by this point, Team Black Diamond will just be looking to bring as many Mind Games eSports players out of their own half before attempting an attack.
And they certainly have brought out a lot. Here's maybe an opportunity. Frosty goes for it again, doesn't get the touch. But as calm as Black Diamond is, they will just rotate back 2 men and just take the save that they can get instead of the maybe high risk, high reward opportunity. They know that they have the defensive clear and the prowess to make sure that they don't score. As long as they don't own goal, they should be fine.
He doesn't get the bump on the goalie, but he doesn't even need to. The moment you saw him in the air, just one little sidestep, there goes MacGyver, and then, oh, extra little touch, and Flakesy. I think Flakesy was just afraid that Keo's gonna bump into him, didn't reach out to that challenge fully, and my god, this is a worthy goal to end the series, I suppose, but Team Black Diamond sure made it hard on themselves not to finish it in regulation with that own goal. And these score lines were a tad too close for the comfort.
Maybe I think it was still pretty good for Team Black Diamond. They had a lot of control, even though there were chances for mind games. Like Timotheus had 6 shots this game. They weren't that threatening. The buzzer beater that Timotheus almost got, that was threatening. The rest was, well, it was a shot, but there were 2 defenders at all time.
That is some solid work from Black Diamonds, some solid work from Mind Games Esports as well. Again, just bringing not enough surprises to really take away the series from their opposition, but definitely enough to keep this series alive for as long as possible. And when we come back, more about this series as well as our very last matchup of the day. That'll be Time Chasers versus Imperial. Once again, just stay where you are.
Ir mirkļi, kas nevar gaidīt. Paņem tos līdzi, lai kur tu būtu. Helio ITV televīzija, kas pielāgojas tev.
We're 1,000 miles from comfort. We have traveled land and sea. But as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be. I would wait forever, exalted in the sea. As long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same. Yeah, you another name. Switch up the battery.
Helio piedāvā.
Mēs no tā visa varam uztaisīt kārtīgu weekend balīti. Tu esi Andris kā vecajos laikos.
Lai kādos piedzīvojumos tu dotos, Helio ITV un Shortcut vienmēr tev līdzi. Skaties, kur un kā vēlies.
And welcome back. We are in our very final match of the day here on BSL with some Rocket League action. Jarv Jam with FaZe. We're going to be looking forward to what Imperial can bring against Time Chasers or vice versa. But first, although a little bit about a previous game that we just saw. Something that could have been a tad more closer. Mind Games eSports showing a lot of fire, but they were stopped. They were definitely stopped by their opposition and well, not Imperial. Imperial was a tad ago. They were playing previously. They will be playing again. No, it's Team Black Diamond, and Prima was absolutely crucial for that team, at very least in the first game. And then I'd say he never really he let off the pressure just a little bit, but he was always there creating these fantastic chances.
Now, like you said, Mind Games eSports had fire, but the Team Black Diamond had a fire extinguisher at the ready every single second that they needed. And there was never a chance of a breakthrough or it would spiral out of control. And that's how Black Diamond eventually did take it, by just controlling Mind Games eSports, letting them attack whenever they felt like it, and then just counter and put on a quick play that Mind Games eSports couldn't stop.
And you can see a lot of that in those stats. 7 goals for Team Black Diamond, although a lot of those were 4 goals in the first game by Prima, versus only 2 by Mind Games eSports, 5 assists versus 1 assist, 16 saves versus 18 saves, but we often see the team that is on the losing end making more saves because they're stuck in their own half. 28 shots versus 24 shots, and this is the most damning ones. 25% in shooting conversion for Team Black Diamond, 8% for Mind Games eSports. That is maybe one of the lowest we've seen as of yet. I do believe 9% was something we saw last week. But Mind Games eSports, all these attempts just couldn't convert.
No, that's a big yikes. Only 8%, but you see how it happened. Mind Games eSports idea was like, we're gonna shoot at the net multiple times and see if we can find a gap in their defense. While Black Diamond was like, okay, let them shoot. We have confidence in our defensive capabilities. We'll just have 2 guys back the entire time that they're still going to start up an attack, and we will defend it. And it worked, and that's why they had such a low shooting percentage. Maybe in hindsight, Mind Games could have utilized the backboard a little bit more, utilized infield passes instead of those shots, because maybe those shots couldn't have not gone towards the goal because they would have been saved, but a passing play or getting a defender out through the backboard would have created that opportunity.
There was promising plays from Mind Games eSports, but the individual plays from Flakesy, one of the top scorers for that team, is just the most resultative player from Mind Games eSports. He couldn't really get into the action. MacGyver couldn't find his position, and Timotheus back on team. Not really feeling his own either. At times, you again could see Flakes and Timotheus clashing a bit in a couple of times. Well, Team Black Diamond, they just played solid. As you said, FaZe, they're just continuing to playing their calm game, no nervousness. But let's talk about nervousness, because that might indeed come into factor, and Imperial might as well be scared against their opposition. It's Time Chasers. Memphipi, Trex, and Why Not Party, and whoever you look at that team, they're all as scary as ever. And FaZe have been here for the first week, and you saw exactly what Time Chasers can do. Those 12-goal games, 8-goal games were something that they can really put on. Imperial definitely won't be going down that hard, but Tigmata needs to make sure that he's still hot. Ragus and DV need to bring down not just their A game, their S+ game, if there's still any chance about beating Time Chasers.
They certainly have. The Time Chasers that I've seen have been mighty scary. I also see them play against Team Black Diamond, which was pretty close, which I did not expect to be. And right now they have Imperial. And Imperial, if they still want to have a chance of anything of getting through, they have to win this game. I think it would be impossible for them to still go through if they lose this next one. so they have to bring their A game. But this time, I've also seen Time Chasers is their B team when the sub played. They've brought their A team. They're probably just gonna get a quick sweep out of this one.
It might as well be looking that way. Time Chasers so far on a 4-0 unbeaten record in the league, and looking to add a 5th one to that when the team started to make that land spot easily for Imperial. Indeed, it might be the end of the road if they manage to miss this one out hard, but that's life. I mean, they've already dropped at least one game, so only one way to find out how this is going to go, whether Imperial stand any chances. There's still a lot of possibilities, mathematically speaking, of how this can unfold, but it's another tough task for the side of Imperial. 3-0 for me in favor of Time Chasers, I believe. Face, that's your prediction as well. So let's see how the 4th game of the day and our very final one goes.
Saying it's not going to be a 3-0 for Time Chasers, like betting on the horse that has a limp. It's never a good thing to do. You might get a really good payoff if you do, but it's been so dominant from Time Chasers that I think almost everybody expects them to win this.
Interesting. Actually, looking at the series, and again, knowing that Tagmata is playing for Imperial, knowing his level of play, he is up there on par with Time Chasers players. So I think Tagmata's that's the right word here. He's more used to seeing the kind of play that Time Chasers are showing that perhaps some of the opponents. So his reads might be more solid, and he might be getting his touches a little bit better. Doing Tagmata, double committing right there on the flank, and the pass, of course, is going to come in. Why not party a little bit amiss? Trex will be setting up Mimfipai. Weird pass, but allows Time Chasers to keep the ball in that half.
And I do remember Trex's play last week. The first week. It was insane how much he stepped up in that last series. And right now, why not Party is playing instead of the sub at the time. I think he doesn't have to do it that much, and we'll just see this team like gluing together and making everything work. We've seen a lot of passes already. I think we're gonna see a lot more.
It's going to be definitely a game where you will see the ball moving around between two teammates, even the 3 teammates. Time Chasers know exactly that they need to move the ball around. They'll have to beat Tagmata and Ragnus and Dewey if they want to get any goals going. So far going on pretty well, Tagmata. Solo effort just brings the ball back to Mimfipai. Trex will be at the end of that, but Precision is betraying Time Chasers at the beginning of the series just a tad. But to reassure, I think they're getting into positions, and that is important for them. While Imperial, what they're getting on the attack, I see a lot of wasted opportunities. One touch, just sort of not bringing the ball anywhere, and then it dies down, and there you have it. Ball returned back to the orange happy.
Ooh, this could maybe be the first goal, but no, Mimfipai was there. I saw Why Not Party have a side flip, so I thought, oh well, this could be a good opportunity. And even though that Time Chasers have had some opportunity, I couldn't finish them. They're still pretty aggressive. It's just they have to link up to each other a little bit more, and they will probably find that goal. But the passing plays have not linked up, like been tailored towards each other. They've just been going to the middle without someone having been waiting there.
Oh, Dewey, that save by Tagmata was crucial, because Dewey was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Time Chaser already crushing on him. I see the problem for Imperial. That might be that Tagmata is forced to play heavy defense, and through that he is not able to really fulfill the role of that third player sticking in the middle of the field doing something. He'll just, all of his time will be occupied by making sure that his net is as safe as possible. And the moment he risks and get out, is that where Time Chasers can score. Another attacking opportunity, but look at that, Trex just doesn't care. Gets the player, not the ball. So Mimfipai is forced to look for Why Not Party. And with the miss, Time Chaser still might be on the attack. Tagmata misreads it. Trex sets up his teammates. Nobody on the backboard. Mimfipai with the miss again. And Dewey and Tagmata is those two players all the time that I see committing for the same ball. And Imperial would like to have all of their resources available rather than putting so many players in the same spot.
They certainly would like to, but the passes have been so dangerous. We've seen a lot of infield passes on the side of Time Chase. They're just putting it towards the middle from the sides and a little bit further away from the goal than most defense is comfortable with, but just not far enough yet. And this has led to a few opportunities, but no good scoring chances, because the defense could always beat the offensive player to the ball. This time, it's just a straight one across the net, and Why Not Party commits on it, and they get the first goal in the series.
Look at that control by Trex, just beating one player on the wall while continuing to tumble up forwards. And I think Time Chasers finally have fixed their accuracy issue by bringing the ball to the net as close as possible. You can't miss from that position. It's absolutely impossible. Finally, they get on board. Did take them a long time. The second one went immediately coming through. Tigmata barely getting in there. Ragus and Dooley, extra flip, not reaching it. Why Not Party immediately on the wall, pitching it through. Recognizing he needs to return back. Does get a challenge going. Trex out of boost, not making the challenge. Ragus a tad too high. And Why Not Party makes it in time there. Dooley and Tigmata going for the same ball, but in that situation, Dooley, I don't think he was in any position to make it. Also going through the same flank, Tigmata and Dooley, making sort of stealing a boost out of each other and bump in the net, Tigmata just being removed.
That could have been the equalizer, and in my opinion should have been. Those were two big chances that could have gotten them on the board. But Time Chasers are still in the lead, and in my opinion not quite convincingly yet. Maybe they still have to warm up a little bit. We see a little bit more of craziness the last minute, but it's just not the Time Chasers I've seen in week number 1.
It is, well, they're finally playing against teams that will be challenging them either for a LAN spot or at LAN itself. And so today, yeah, it's not looking as great. It's, again, I feel like it's their precision, mostly, because they've created a lot of great opportunities. It's just like they weren't able to convert every single one of these opportunities, and as a result, it's just, despite all these 10 shots, only 1 goal, you think, oh, my god, what happened to the Time Chasers? It might be still just the first game blues, because on the other end, Imperial only have 1 goal less than Time Chasers, but you can't exactly say that Imperial had much going in this game.
No, they had a few chances, but they couldn't finish it off. And Time Chasers, looking back again at their shooting percentage, their passes didn't connect that greatly. So they did have shots, but it were not the hard shots that you expect from a passing play, because they couldn't connect on it properly. They had to pre-flip and touch the ball at the end of their flip instead of at the start.
A lot of these little things build up to a big all game that you might either win or lose. Imperial, not the worst start from them, knowing that they've eked out a win against their opposition early against Team Small Brain. This one is a much bigger fish to fry, though. Time Chasers might be given Imperial 1 small chance, but no more small chances. And if that if that shot conversion from Time Chasers improves, if on the other end Imperial can close these chances down, then it's going to be just a quick sweep saloon for the series.
Yeah, that could be done by Time Chase. We've seen them a lot of the times have a sweep. They only once dropped games, and they dropped 2 against Black Diamond. For every other series, they have had a clean sweep. And we've seen today that warm-up is pretty important for a lot of teams.
Ooh,
and I think
pinch.
it's also one from Time Chasers, but Doovy just pinches it in.
Look at that. First of all, beats Why Not Party, then recognizes where Trex is. Trex was in no man's land. Just any ball shooting off his car would be shooting straight on target. And the rest remaining goalie was not expecting such a powerful pinch either. Imperial, that's as good start as you can possibly get. Now it's Tigmata and Ragus. Mimfipa gets first to the ball, but Tigmata slightly out of position. Ragus gets to the ball first. Not once again recognizing where they need to be, just barely. Tigmata gets himself again out of position. He is in net, will be waiting. Imperial, the moment the shots are coming their way, are starting to panic yet again. Better not do that. Who comes there first? Ragus. He's out of boost though. Gets bumped himself, and it'll be a quick attack for them. He can't really chase it, dude. Great read, great clear. Gets the boost as well. Trex will be there first. Quick turnaround, making sure that ball immediately gets returned to Imperial side.
And now that Imperials have scored, Time Chasers have to show that they're just not... It was not that they're just playing around. They have to start playing now. They have to put on the pressure. You have to find the passes and work it out with each other, because they are 1-0 down. This is not a position they often find themselves in, and they will probably feel the pressure a little bit. Here's a good passing play to Party. Party cannot reach it.
Party for him, bump. Wow, oh, great chip. But again, Mimfipa, something about him in game 1 and continuing in this game, but really it has been extending to his whole team. So many great passes and opportunities created. Imperial are beat on most of them. but just that last final shot not going in. And right now when they're trailing, that's important as ever. Ragus gets the boost. Trex is all the way down there, but that's important. Trex is all the way down there. He then gets on a redirect and threaten the Imperial side pretty strongly.
And I'm still, those passes on the side of Time Chase are still a little bit off. It's not much, it's like half a car length. But if they play a little bit more aggressive on these passes, they will connect way better than they do currently. And then they will maybe have those goals and chances that we see from them way more often than they do right now.
Tagmata does beat out, I do believe that's Memphify in the net. Makes him sweat just a little bit. But no immediate shot comes in through, and that bump doesn't work out. On the top of the ball is Trex. Never, look at that, never really leaving that ball even for a second. And this miss by Tagmata and this miss by Ragus. This means that Trex can continue his trajectory straight on target.
And that was also a banger. 112 kilometers per hour in the left corner. Those are unsavable.
That's Trex for you. That is, if he is the best, the best, just not ifs, no buts. He is the best player in BSL in this season. Last season he was a sub and came in a couple of times, but every single time he came into play, you could immediately see the quality. So I'm hoping to see him on land, see how he performs. Also see how he performs in a variety of different leagues as well. Just see if he can go for Rival Series next season. Knowing that there are 10 teams, hey, it's a very good opportunity for him to go, because he definitely has that quality, has that level. The future is in his hands. Stigmata will be trying to fight one at party for Duvy. Looking for a ball on a flank. Slows it down. Actually makes Memphify double guess himself. But by the time that ball just completely got killed, the rest of the Time Chasers came in through, started an attack. Trex doesn't get a bump on him. Stigmata was looking to sort of stop Time Chasers from returning back into their own half, but Trex is already here. Trex is starting his own attack. An extra flip to one at party. If they can flip it to Memphify, that'll be pretty great indeed. Any other follow-up? Ooh, straight off the crossbar, sent down. Tagmata drops on it. Imperial leave that attack. Again, with their hands clutching to their hearts, that was 3 dangerous shots, but they found 3 great answers.
Yes, they certainly have, and it looks like Time Chasers are easily, like, finding each other more easily, but it's still not being able to finish. The defense of Imperials is quite strong. Even their passing plays, they will still be between those and have a good save on it. They're not scared to challenge the ball, even though they're maybe not sure if they're going to reach it in time. But every 50 that they've been taken has been pretty decent.
Yeah, but Trex, every single time he has the ball, it is just incredible to watch him. Another individual effort, getting close to the net, but enough Imperial players stop that from happening. Why not party? That was, I think that would be going out. But still, the angle, the precision, top right corner was almost his. Trex staying in the attack. Will be setting up Memphify, and nobody. Oof, they decide not to go straight at it. Memphify on the wall trying to redirect it. Good idea, but just not getting close enough. Tagmata getting pinballed into the ball stops the attack from Time Chasers, and that might be just enough for them to stop any opportunities in this game. Yep, Time Chasers still be continuing. Tagmata returns on the other side, powerful enough. Keep it out of the hands of Time Chasers. No still players coming in through. Tagmata. They need this ball to drop, and Trex still keeping it alive. Actually, a chance for Imperial to continue this through, but the moment Time Chasers get their hands on it, then Trex can continue on. Actually, maybe spoke too soon. Ball just keeps on changing the direction so many times. When at party, somebody just needs to kill it. At some point, it's not going to be beneficial for any of those teams. You're just luring yourself into a trap.
I think both teams had different opportunities on that ball is keeping it up, but we will reach the overtime, and this has been a close games, and the passing plays are incredible on the side of Time Chasers, but they're dangerous to pull off, and whilst we on the other side have just raw defense and waiting for an opportunity on the side of Imperials, who just bide their time.
Great shot, Ragus. Why not party just barely making it there, making sure that the defense is solid shot. Everyone misses. All right, sweeps canceled one more time. Duvy in the overtime, and that is an unforgivable miss. Everyone in position. Why not party jumps that pretty strong, and he also stopped Memphify from making the save.
I'm gonna call out Why Not Party here. Sorry, man. He pre-jumped the shot. And in that situation, you should not pre-jump a shot. I get that if it's the left top corner, yes, you should have pre-jumped. And if you're the only defender, yes, it's a good option to pre-jump. But you're with 3 defenders in the net. Just cover your side of the net. Make sure it can't go in the thing that you're covering and you're fine. Instead, he jumps up for a side that has been covered. Not even by Mimfapai, but by Trex. And by doing that, he could not adjust his call anymore and get the save, which causes them to lose overtime.
I'm currently looking. This is one of the closest. Whoops. Definitely not that button. Definitely one of the closest games that Time Chasers have had so far. And knowing, again, this is only their 3rd game that they've lost throughout the whole season, means that, wow, Imperial are really onto something here. Brilliant. It's Time Chasers allowing it to do so. Not getting it done in the regulation. Why not party? We'll now try to bring Imperial down, and Time Chasers back up on it. The second win of the game. Trex and Why Not Party exchanging a series of passes. Stigmata is solidly there, out of boost though. And if Time Chasers continuing on the attack, Stigmata might not be in position to make a follow-up save again.
We do see that the 50s are in favor of Time Chasers, and there is, after 50 from Why Not Party, he continues the play, bringing it to Mimfapai. Look at this. He doesn't have enough boost to do a fancy thing, but he knows Mimfapai is waiting in line, and with a really hard shot, the defender could not react in time, and a 1-0 lead for Time Chasers.
We have seen a lot of passes to Mimfapai throughout the series. Most of them weren't really working, down to heavy passes and imprecision with shot. But that one just had to work, and they made it work. Time Chasers opening the scoring in game 3. Now we'll be forcing Imperial to play from behind. Might be a tough task for them. Also, but with the low scoring series that has been so far, great flick by the way, it might be doable. It might be doable even with this opening. First minute gone. Why Not Party and the rest of Time Chaser gearing up on the attack, trying to drop on the ball, misses the ball on the attack. Ragus, another attempt. Tegmata missed it, but thankfully they have Doobie. Unfortunately, they put it straight to Trex, who can put his fake back down. Gets for a bomb. That's a perfect way for them. No boost, no time to rotate back. At the very least, be as big of a nuisance in the net as possible.
That touch, by the way, there by Ragus was really important. He blocked the pass to the middle where Mimfapai was waiting, and that could have been a big opportunity. I'm just waiting to see how long it will take on these passes will finally connect properly, because they're connecting. So there's a good fake though, but Trex, the hero and defense, saves them yet again.
That was looking so shaky. I was thinking, man, if he fakes him out, no chances. It was looking so well. Trex was there, not in my angle. Oh, Ragus with a chance to actually drop down on it. Close attempt by Imperial, but they find themselves an opportunity. Ragus, again, trying to play it a little bit slow. Play against the expectation of Time Chasers. Try to sort of just surprise them with your play. Do something unexpected. I think that's how Imperial might find a goal, because Time Chasers otherwise are solid as rock.
Here's a good pass, but still the defense intercepts. The strong suit of the Time Chase has been properly countered, and that's why it's still 1-1 and only a 1-goal lead. It's their strongest suit, and every time we see them play, it's been amazing. Now they utilize the backboard. Maybe it's a better option, because those chances look way more dangerous, because the passing plays in the midfield, in front of the net, hasn't been working. Let's see if they can just utilize the backboard.
They're trying to look at that Trex, I suppose. In this one, and Why Not Party has the third player coming in through. Doobie and Ragus nowhere even closer. Tegmata, that's how the whole attack started. He gave the ball to Time Chasers in the lower half after he ran out of boost. And by the time Time Chasers put it 3 times on the backboard, or at least 2 times with the third player coming in, you know they're gonna get a goal. The net was just that empty.
Well, let's see if they also notice that their passing plays aren't really working, and that they maybe should utilize the backboard even more, because it looks like they are quite more dominant on that side of the field than the passing plays. It's a hard cookie to cook, the backboard passes, because it's way riskier. But maybe they don't need them. I don't know how Trex pulled this one off,
but he certainly pulled something off.
It didn't even look like a goal at my angle. I thought he was just gonna go on the wall. Nope, he puts it on with a splash and 3-0. This is the biggest lead that anyone really in this series have had so far, and Time Chasers are trying to run away from Imperial in game number 3. Was keeping pretty close. Oh, Trex, you're just doing Trex things by this point.
Yeah, that was beautifully done. You see just the control he has. He uses his boost to get a flip reset, gets an extra touch on it, and maybe not the flip reset he was looking for, but just the flip reset that worked. And then now a 4-goal lead out of nowhere. This was a close series, but maybe finally Time Chasers have pulled ahead when Trex started to warm up.
Yep, and it was nice while it lasted, but the moment Trex comes online, it is mad. Tagmata's trying to create an opportunity for himself in the attack as well, but more often than not, I see Tagmata in the attack, and that's a rare sight, really. Usually he's somewhere in the middle of the field. He does not start the attack, or is not on the forefront. But when I see him in those positions, he's usually out of boost. He can continue doing anything, and he can be a nuisance, but that's about it. In his situation, with not enough pace, he is even struggling to put the ball in a position for his teammates to get it. And Time Chasers definitely have learned that danger really is almost nowhere to be found for Imperial. Their chances are coming in pretty rarely. Duvi and Ragus are finding their opportunities. 1 goal for Duvi as that shot caroms off one of the Time Chasers players into the net. But for Imperial, this is really too late. Too many opportunities given to Time Chasers in the 4 minutes.
Mimfipai has had a little bit of a rough game, not finding the passes, but he finally found an infield pass that he could score. Maybe it was a wrong goal, who knows, maybe I'm
Still counts.
colorblind, I don't even see it. He will probably happy to be finally scoring a passing play. It's 4-1 anyway, they should have this game. It's just for Imperials to figure out how are we gonna deal with this newfound energy on Trex.
With trouble, with a lot of trouble. And the problem is, even if they shut down Trex, who just have scored his 3rd for a hat-trick in Game 3, they still need to be wary of everyone else. Why not Party and Mimfipai maybe were a tad quiet in the series, with Mimfipai himself not having a lot of success. He is by no means just having the worst game of his life. Nope, he's still there. He still knows where he needs to be. His team is not suffering from his bad positioning. You can't call his positioning bad by no means. It's as his touch is worse. We are suffering just a tad. So even if Trex goes down, there's still enough. Duvi and Ragus, I'm loving what they're showing. How they're knowing that Tagmata is just trying to play defense. They know that they themselves need to be aggressive, and they're succeeding more often than not. And for Imperial, that's a really good look. If Ragus and Duvi can continue the same pressure, then I feel like Time Chasers will be brought down. But first, really, they need to tighten down a lot of stuff in their defense. Tagmata and Duvi, I know you both want to be heroes, but something needs to be done about those double commits. Maybe you're just good friends, but holding your hands as you roll around the Rocket League field is not the way to go.
That's certainly true, but I think there's also a big dilemma here for Imperial. You've seen a lot of infield passes from Time Chasers at the start of the series that didn't work out because they defended in front of their net, which they could move out and get the contest. But now Time Chasers are like, well, we'll just smack the backboard then if you're waiting in front of your goal.
Yeah.
And if they are now like, okay, if you smack the backboard, we'll go onto the backboard, we might see those infield passes again. So what is it going to be? Is the Time Chasers going to go for infield passes? Is it going to be backboard plays? I think it's going to be really hard for Imperial to identify which defensive position they need to take.
Backboard plays, infield passes, why not both? Why not both to maximize your chances of taking the series? In 4 games, Time Chasers would not want to give Imperial any extra opportunities, and they really run away with it at the with the Game 3. Those 4 goals count for a lot, and Time Chasers are on the horse, especially if that horse's name is Trex, and Trex just rushes on through. He is, at times, he's absolutely unstoppable, barely not on target. Imperial were looking to put Time Chasers on the back foot straight from the very beginning, and loving that the aggression is still there, the willingness to attack Time Chasers up front.
Yeah, They do try. Here's maybe a good opportunity. Minfipai is only one in defense. Ragus gets a
Down.
pass. Minfipai then on the post and out. That could have been the 1-goal lead that Imperials need that bad. Here's again Trex just outplaying the whole team and scoring another goal.
The precision and the precision and the power. Look at that. He only needed to put enough height on it because Ragus was there, close enough that anything going lower might have been actually off his car and out. But Trex puts enough height, enough power, enough precision, because that was awfully close to a crossbar, to make it work. Poor Imperial, but what can you do? Every single time the ball reaches Trex, you just tense up in your seat. You know something's gonna happen.
I would not say poor Imperials, by the way, because I think almost every team is like, well, we played Time Chasers. Well, we lost. Well, that's totally not expected or something. I think every team goes into this matchup thinking like, we will be happy if we win. We would also be okay with the loss.
Well, then again, it is the expected way, but then you're the underdogs, and the underdogs have that good chance of shocking their opposition. If Time Chasers started this season by saying we're not gonna drop a single game, they already themselves been extra confident. The teams have proven them wrong. Trex still managing to score. I feel like on this attempt, just Imperial threw themselves in front of the ball way too early, and try just cleaning up on the mess that the Imperials made in their defense.
Trex sees the ball, Trex hits the ball, Trex scores the ball. That's like the story of this last 2 games. He's just been everywhere on the field, hitting it left, right, and center, just towards the net in every single angle. That last shot was really hard to pull off with the speed that he had. And here again, an absolute banger towards that. This time it got saved, but it was still an incredible shot.
Somebody would perhaps call cheats. Aimbots, no wallhawks in Rocket League though, but maybe something about aimbot and a speed hack. Trex is everywhere. Trex gets his shots going in. After this series is over, I'll be really interested to see just what his shooting percentage is. He definitely gets a lot of shots going, but his conversion today has been so deadly that Imperial just have no answer. Close to half point of this game 4. While Imperial are against the match point of the Time Chasers. Plenty of time to get something going. Tagmata, I'm not even sure what he was going for. He didn't get the boost, he didn't get the player, he just went on past. And now that he can get it in the net, Trex adds 3rd to his tally. And honestly, FaZe, the goals are getting weirder and weirder from Trex.
They certainly are. They're just 2 defenses lying away, thinking like, okay, it's Trex. He's up in the air.
Ready.
He's gonna touch it. He's gonna go for flip. You said, I need to look what he's doing. Wait, he didn't really touch. Oh, I'm in a bad position right now. And Trex scored. And now it's Minfipai. I think Time Chasers are like, you know what, guys, let's clean it up. We're done for today.
Well, yeah, when the party was that shadowing player, I feel like he was coming in, so that's how he got a lot of speed on Dewey on that approach. But Time Chasers, they're just giving us the show and showing well, that wasn't the show. Everyone's now confused, but even from this opportunity, look how many players of Time Chasers are in front of a net. A great pass to Minfipai yet again, just a tad too strong and a tad off position. Minfipai, just something about him not really getting those shots on target is the story of this game. Thankfully he has Trex, thankfully he has Why Not Party. And thankfully, Time Chasers are still as powerful as ever. And just a moment ago, I was saying, alright, it's 2 goals, it's half of the game. Doable for Imperial. 30 seconds have passed. All of a sudden, it's 2 more goals, 4-0. And it's a scoreline that is, unless something drastic happens, Imperial will be setting a world record if they come back from this.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. The only thing that could happen is like internet crashes from all the players of Time Chasers and they score goals. But let's be honest, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think so. Even if the controller, let's take the simplest one, but the most possible one. Controller disconnects for one of these players.
They need at least 2. They need at least 2.
Exactly.
One is not gonna cut it.
Exactly. If one is not gonna cut it, passes coming through. I think that was Trex flying it through. Minfipai trying to set up his teammate. Counterattack going the other way. Tagmata is found by Duvey. Second tap. There you have it, Tagmata. with a minute still on the clock. A solid passing play, that's the most important one. They move the ball quickly, they get enough speed on it, and they're first there in front of the net. Time Chaser couldn't stop it.
That's a solid goal for Tagmata. Props on you on that one, but probably not gonna make a difference. But hey, everybody likes to score a nice goal, even if you're down. So Tagmata will be pretty happy about that one. And Time Chaser's like, you know what, you score a nice goal, we'll just try to put one more in it to set you back into your place.
Where you can get an even nicer goal on the other end of the field. Mifify with all his time to get back with the ball into his half. Actually brings the ball to his own half. Double tap. Ragus and Duvy's not in the position to follow up with him in great. Time Chaser already beaten. Tracks on the flank already beat as well. Mifify just keeps it alive. Pass. Or a shot, I suppose, but goalie was there. Nobody close from Imperial to commit on that challenge. A demo will kill Time Chaser's attack. Why not Party? Beaten. There's Duvy will be starting something on the wall. Mifify not in time. Duvy still chances, trying to get a little bit of reset or just a flick under the ball off the wall. Can't get it. Ball still killed in the middle of the field, but nobody is close for Imperial, and that's a problem. And whatever happens in those remaining 5 seconds phase, not gonna matter one single bit. Time Chasers, well, they've dropped one. They've definitely managed to bring the whole series back. And Imperial, for them, this might have been it. You said it at the very start of the series, and I do believe this is the situation with the games, how they've been played, who have been already in head-to-head against each other. Time Chasers right now solidify their place for the playoffs, while Imperial no longer have the chances to make those 2 top playoff spots.
Yeah, I think it's I haven't run the numbers, so I cannot promise anyone anything, but I'm pretty sure that Time Chasers is now locked in. I'm almost 99% sure that they're locked in. And I also think that Black Diamond are almost locked in. I can't say that for sure 100%, but I think there's a really good opportunity right now that they cannot drop anymore.
So this win puts Time Chasers on a 5-0 versus the 5-1 of Team Black Diamond. So while it's still a chance for Time Chasers to sort of drop down, it is looking almost unlikely for them, especially knowing their opposition. They're really gonna be playing against the Backflip Boys as the very final game of the season. So that still has a possibility to change it just a little bit. But their next game next week is against the Bad Dudes. And with all the respect to the Bad Dudes, who I actually haven't seen for 2 weeks now, they've played a bunch of games early. I don't think they're going to be put much of a challenge for Time Chasers. Well, for Imperial, this brings them a 3-2. And in their position, and knowing that their game difference have actually dropped pretty significantly, they will be retaining their slot for the 5th season, but I'm not looking at them to make that playoff spot. And really, it's just not enough if you're relying on Tagmata as much as they're doing, and if there's not enough power in the rest of the team, and really credit to Duvy and Ragus, it still wasn't enough what they've shown on the field. Then it's just not gonna work.
No, but hey, there's always next season, like you said. They've been doing great. They've been growing a lot, and maybe next season they will have a shot at LAN. And that's, of course, a really amazing feat for them. But this time, Time Chasers and Black Diamond are just the big boys around the block. At least Black Diamond can still get knocked out, I think, by Bad Dudes. By the Backflip Boys. But we'll have to look into that one to be entirely sure about that.
So, here you have stats on your screen, and Imperial wasn't doing that bad in terms of shooting, 25% on their shooting versus 26 on the side of Time Chasers. It's just that the amount of shots put by Time Chasers is tremendous. Twice as many shots that Imperial have put, 19 by Imperial versus 30, or 40 actually, even 4, twice as much. It just shows that Time Chasers were constantly up in the grill of Imperial. And actually, with this comes the very important moment of today, which is we need to pick the MVP of the week. And while at some point I was thinking Prima should get it, his performance in game number 1 in this series versus Mind Games eSports was incredible. He was just everywhere, everything was working for him. Really, the flashes of Trex in some regards. But he wasn't really as solid throughout the whole series. So, What are you thinking? I think Trex. Trex has just been straight through his best. He is just tremendous.
I think Trex played incredible again. I think, if my memory serves me right, I think we also called Trex as MVP of Week 1, if I remember now. But it's like he's been playing so well. He individually made so many amazing plays during that series. In the end, he was just solo doing anything. You saw how many times Mimfapai and Moino Potty tried a passing play and it didn't work out. And Trex like, you know what? I'll 1v3 them and we'll score anyway. It's fine.
Is just gonna work for me, one way or the other. So good chance for us then to look back at how the day went, see the matches as they unfolded, and of course after that we will check out the final standings as well. So let's get those on your screen. So at the very start of the day, of course, we saw Backflip Boys win against Postgame Strong, and while Postgame Strong took one game off the Backflip Boys, and that might hurt Backflip Boys eventually. Again, those at times you might have one game decided all. They still dropped it, and Postgame Strong were in ways given those opportunities. I feel a lot of misplays by Backflip Boys, so many mistakes and whiffs. I've never seen that many from the Backflip Boys. But the series in overall still went in favor of the Backflip Boys. Imperial almost let their game slip away from them against Team Smallbrain. Our second reverse sweep of the whole history of BSL Rocket League. And the Imperial did pull it off. Took Tagmata a lot of time to warm up. In the end, he has done so, but his performance initially was not up to the level that we expect from him, really. Team Black Diamond continued their rush through the whole season. 5-1 is their result at the end of that. Mind Games eSports showed themselves in a couple of games, but it was enough. 3-0 is the solid result for that. Just they're something that I've been expecting more from Flake. And while it wasn't the worst performance from Mind Games eSports, a lot of mistakes I feel like that they've been doing previously have been eradicated. Against Team Black Diamond, you need a lot more than just fix your old mistakes. You also need to bring something fresh. And of course, the series we've just seen on our screens, Time Chasers versus Imperial. Imperial made Time Chasers were just a little bit. Imperial only the second team to take a game off Time Chasers. But in the end, the quality and the absolute force that is Trex prevails. And Time Chasers put themselves on 5-0 and continue their unbeaten record in league. Right, well, now last chance for us to take English. Check the standings at the very end of this one. Updated, of course. Let's see, Team Black Diamond officially now on the first spot due to the fact that they have a better game difference and one more game played. The Time Chasers obviously will be striking back, that's for sure. Backflip Boys in a third spot with their 4-1. Imperial with that loss, that sets them down to 3-2 with their chances. We are almost sure that chances of land, those are two top spots, going. Bad Dudes, now they're the team with the lowest amount of games played, will be playing next week. Still a chance to, most likely to stay up in that 3-2, well, most likely 5 and 6 position, followed by Team Smallbrain, who couldn't shock Imperial today, and the Mind Games eSports and Postgame Strong still staying there at the bottom of the board without any series wins. They will be playing later on in the season. One of these teams are bound to have a win, whichever it might be. Mind Games eSports most likely will have to win their revenge from the previous season when they lost to Postgame Strong during the second week. So here, a perfect opportunity. But those top bottom spots are the teams that will be relegated at the end of the season. So land battle at the top, battle for survival at the very bottom.
And it's going to be an interesting one. Like, I think the one at the bottom is maybe even more interesting at the top. Because we know that Time Chasers are going to make it. Everybody should at least think it. Maybe I'm wrong, but... And then the battle for second place is probably going to be between Team Black Diamond and the Backflip Boys. In my opinion, Black Diamonds are the favorites, and I don't think it's going to change that much. But in the bottom, the battle between those three teams is going to be intense.
Right, well, quick last reminder at the end of the day that, hey, the tickets for HyperTown are still available, still on sale. CSGO, Rocket League, and Guns of Boom finals will be played there on November 23rd. On November 24th, there's going to be a cosplay contest. There's still time for you to register to get your costume submitted, or just get your cosplay submitted. There will be a lot of judges on that event, so if you have something amazing, or just want to watch it, do get yourself tickets. Go to HyperTown.Pro to check information about how you can buy the tickets, what discounts you can get for being a group of people, a family, or a student, or if you just want to see what else is going to be there. As I said at the beginning, you'll get some racing there, because there's those like tricycles, motor powered tricycles, which is absolutely crazy to drift around in. Actually RC controlled cars, pretty close to Rocket League. VR displays, a lot of gaming displays here in Riga. Earlier in the year we had some like old school gaming on SNES, PlayStation and such. Board game events, or just a lot of companies just doing their stuff and showcasing. So if you're in Tallinn, or if you can make it to Tallinn on November 23rd and 24th, I do wholeheartedly recommend you visiting, because HyperTown is a crazy event. And even if you can make it, and if you play CSGO or PUBG every single Wednesday at 7 p.m., do join the lobbies to play for some cool prizes, which are the BSL merch and super gaming monitor from the Samsung. Just go to BESL.Pro, that's BESL.Pro, to find more about how you can join, who's leading, what the prizes are, and such. Alright, Face, that makes it yet another week. A lot of results going unexpected ways, at the very least going unexpected ways, then swerving back to what we expected. Not exactly teams winning when they weren't expected to win. But there were a lot of surprises. Polygon Strong taking the game on the back of the boys. Team Small Brain bringing the Imperial to 5 games. And of course Imperial taking the game off the Time Chasers. What are your thoughts at the end of the day?
Well, my favorite series was Team Small Brain against the Imperials. I thought at one point, no, Team Small Brains has it. It's not the day of Imperials today. It's Team for the Small. It's today the day of the Small Brain. But eventually it didn't work out, but it was nail-biting, and I would have loved to see Team Small Brain win, but sadly enough, they could not pull it off.
One last thought of the day, courtesy of Flake, and I've been saying that I'm expecting a lot of Flake, because he is really just, he's pushing his team forward. That is Mind Games eSports, of course. Flake says, don't expect a lot from me, I ain't Trex. And ain't that the truth? I'm not Trex. Face, I know how well Face plays. Face isn't Trex either. Trex is his own entity. No, Face, you're great. You're absolutely great. But you're not Trex, right?
Well, luckily and sadly enough, no. I would probably have loved to be have his Rocket League skills, but I also love to live in the Netherlands, so...
Norway ain't that half bad either. But anyway, there, folks, thanks very much for joining us. I've been Jar of Jam. Thanks to Face for joining us this week. There's more BSL action next week. That's at 3 p.m. Sunday, you'll see the schedule on the screen in just a moment. CSGO and PUBG are also happening throughout the week. Or actually, CSGO is happening throughout the week. PUBG is played during Saturdays on the official BSL YouTube channel. Again, all the information will be on your screen in just a moment. We thank you for watching. We hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you will join us next week as well. But for now, it's goodbye from me, from Face, from KP behind the scenes, and all the teams that have been playing today. And nothing more than that. Goodbye.
Ir mirkļi, kas nevar gaidīt. Paņem tos līdzi, lai kur tu būtu. Helio ITV – televīzija, kas pielāgojas tev.
We're 1,000 miles from comfort. We have traveled land and sea. But as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be. I would wait forever, exalted in the sea. As long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same. Yeah, you and us and me. Switch up the battery.
Helio piedāvā.
Mēs no tā visa varam uztaisīt kārtīgu weekend balīti. Tu esi Andris kā vecajos laikos.
Lai kādos piedzīvojumos tu dotos, Helio ITV un Shortcut vienmēr tev līdzi. Skaties, kur un kā vēlies. Bye.